Good evening, Kent. Hello, hello. I hope you're having a comfortable evening. And I also want to apologize to everyone for putting the wrong time. I meant to put for 8 o'clock and not 7 o'clock. I think when I was attempting to convert the time, I pushed myself an hour back and then tried to use the universal. It just didn't work. I am very bad with that, so I will be mindful in the future. But hello, hello. Samsara, I see you. Greetings, word agree. Also, do let me know how the audio is. As always, I'm still checking a few things. Eternal recurrence. Listen, I can't afford to think about eternal recurrences right now, or I'll cry again. I actually don't think I'll... Well, hold on. I think this should be fine. I will just do this. Okay. Also, no joke, I have just been sitting in her abode for the past like hour and a half or 2 hours. So that's definitely like this area is just my spot now. It used to be Windrise for a while. It was Enkanomiya. I had a split moment where I really enjoyed being in the Eternal Oasis, but I really think that I'm just, unless the game forces me to not be here in this environment or something changes, this is just going to be my area that I log out. In. I feel the most comfortable here, as strange as it sounds, because obviously the Traveler and Qatar are not like besties, but you know. So, before I delve into Hymns of the Far North reading, which I strongly recommend to everyone to read on their own if they would like to, or just be here with everyone, speculating, theorizing, putting things together, that is also just as fine and dandy. I will, of course, make the disclaimer of if you have not completed Acts 1 and 2 of the Nod Cry Song of the Welcome Moon Archon quests, you will be spoiled, because we will in fact be delving into that a little bit, while I'll primarily be, like, at least first we'll be talking about Hymns of the Far North. I also do still feel like I want to scream about Acts 1 and 2 because, oh my goodness, were they fantastic quests. Did you get your second Columbina hangout already? So when I came here, I think it was brand new dialogue for me. I'll have to look at the recording because every time I come in here, I take so many recordings and screenshots, and I forget what I originally was supposed to be doing in the game. So I'm pretty sure I probably have, but so I'm really excited, but I think it might be the case. And I say that as if I can't just, like, I forget. Oh, it's just the Selenic Chronicles, I believe. I think I can just go down to the little Lunatar. I love that we can just be here so much. Okay, let me, because I think I did. Also, I do appreciate how this is called the record-keeping Kuhenki, because we love to continue the theme of having a record keeper. So I have her second blessing. I think that would qualify as like the next part, but I'm not sure how far you can go up to currently because I don't know all the details though. If you did, okay, that sounds great. So this is just going to be this is my special logout area. I feel the most comfortable here. This is Kiryu Core and it's going to stay this way. Well, unless Genshin Impact decides to do a thing TM and this environment is changed forever, in which I will cry. But hello everyone. Hello Vega. Hello Barry. I hope everyone's really comfy. I'm so happy. My favorite former Harbinger. I love her.
I like being up high. I can't help but wonder, what would Tevat look like if we looked down on it from the moon above?
So true, Queen. I also keep forgetting I play usually HUDless, and so I'm so not used to it. It would look flat, Queen. Oh my goodness. But yes, so again, I just want everyone to be mindful that there will be spoilers, of course, because the conversation will go into detail about the Archon quests currently. Now, to the extent of the world quests themselves, I will not get into because I still have to really go through like all of them, but I felt it would be the most appropriate to at least have that disclaimer. Because I feel like the world quests themselves just like need their own stream. And once I'm completely caught up with everything, because I only have a few, like a little bit of insight on some of them, but it's been lore. Also, hello, Noctinu. Hello, Marielle. Nope, Skirk disproved flat Tevat theory. You can see it's a sphere when she falls in. This is true. But I suppose, also before I completely forget, when I look at her abode, I know it's probably, or this little area, it's probably just meant to be, oh, this is where she's recovering her strength and everything. And then I look at these two areas where there's a crescent moon. And while I think that's probably more of a possibly future like gameplay thing, like how there's one Lunatar there, maybe there'll be another one over there. I can't help but wonder if it's like, is this supposed to be the three moons together? But I don't know. That's just me being way too me reaching. But oh, this is not what I meant to hit. Also, everyone must get the Traveler name card. It's so cute and so pretty, even though the Intavat and Mona's one are like my favorites. But this is so good. It's so good. After 10,000 winters come 10,000 springs anew. After 10,000 partings, 10,000 reunions too. Has to slip away, yet tomorrow holds the promise of you. I just, once again, love how all of the co-op achievements, yes, they're meant for your quote-unquote friends, but it's clearly in reference to the Traveler, which is all the more heartbreaking. Also, greetings, Brandito. Hello. Oh, my Columbinas in the same place, twins. Yeah, I am just going to hang out here forever and ever. Also, I've been slowly going through the archive, trying to collect everything I can. Just the other week or so, I finally collected all of the Toki Alley Tales and was going through Inazuma like a madman, trying to find everything. But I'm good now. And so once again, For Hymns of the Far North, for this book, you will need to do the Frost Moon Scions. I don't want to call them, you're going to have to do their meeting point chronicles, which is essentially their reputation. Thankfully, they are not time gated. I suppose they're only time gated in the sense of how much time are you willing to spend exploring and wanting to get to know the characters. For me, I was just determined because Hisi Island is currently my favorite area. I like logging out there. I love just sitting there, listening to the music, and talking to the few scions that are around. But you can only get these books through the Frostmoon Scions' reputation quests. Volume 1 specifically is only obtainable once you reach the max level. Now, of course, you can just read it on the wiki if you'd like, but for at least in game, for you to obtain it, you have to go through the entire quest log, or quest line, excuse me. And I just like zoned out for a moment because this book is a lot. I started reading a little bit of it, and then I said, wow, let me come back to this when I haven't been completely destroyed by the Acts 1 and 2 of the Nodcry Archon Quest, because they were so good. I do want to scream about them more because I feel like I couldn't really give my proper response to them since I was experiencing it live. So where's that book from? Oh, which book are you referring to? Hymns of the Far North, or I'm not caught up, but I'm here, but I'm also not here. I see. Schrodinger's VT. Oh, that's not new. It's from Mondstadt. Oh, are you referring to I think I'm just on the Tavat travel guide. Also, speaking of, can Miss Alice like update this? It hasn't been updated since Inazuma, and we've been in more regions since. So it would be nice if this were to be updated, but I imagine maybe they just decided against it. Or maybe I'm just a fool and I just haven't collected them all, but all this to say, again, final warning about spoilers, but I look very much I look forward to gushing about this book with you guys. Also, again, before I start reading, please let me know about audio. I'm not really going to play any music outside of just Columbina's lullaby being on repeat. If you dislike that, I am so sorry, but I don't think there was anything really I would be playing unless it's lo-fi. So again, just let me know. Oh, also this VOD will be uploaded onto YouTube. I got my other VODs today up, so this one will be, if not super late tonight, it'll be up tomorrow morning. So how are we sounding? Is the audio good on all accounts, or do I need to adjust anything? Also, Kurosawa, I don't think that's what happens with Capitana. But I mean, Giratina is baby, and I do like Giratina a lot, so maybe that just fits. Okay, so let's do Hymns of the Far North, Volume 1. I don't mind it. It's very soft, so it doesn't really interfere with you. Yay! I'm just so worried about audio. Goth Ice. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get distracted. Okay. Volume 1. Also, it's regarded as, like, its actual description is a book of hymns passed down for generations among the Frostmoon Scions, compiled by the priestess Onruth. Most of its content and the rites they serve have long since fallen from disuse. Proem, Volume 1. O lips, now voice a solemn hymn for me, to speak the North's old warnings, low and high. I've left my land, my native shores, departed home and wandered far. Through realms unknown, where none know my name, across a barren land long lost to fame. Bleak tundras find rest in deep water's wake, only snow dances upon 1,000 lakes. Yet still in the moonlight bathes the path I trace, and wind still brush the sorrow from my face. Let me sing of how the moon first kissed the land. Let me chant the verse that drives back evil bands. I praise the rivers raging strong, and praise the peaks that rage ever on. I praise the bronze-bound ship of Swetervonen and the golden arrows of Yanniquinen unbroken. Oh, also quick disclaimer, I cannot pronounce Finnish fluently, so I really, really apologize to everyone who is Finnish. I am so sorry. I just want to throw that out there. I forgot to say earlier. But again, I'm very sorry. Let me sing of how the moon first kissed the land. Let me chant the verse that drives back evil bands. I praise the rivers raging strong, and praise the peaks that range ever on. I praise the bronze-bound ship of Swetervonen and the golden arrows of Yanniquinen unbroken. I curse the poisonous plot of byakuyakoku and decry Poyolo's calamity forevermore. My prayer, a sacred word from heaven above, sang to my forebears by envoys beloved. But fate in the end is like a fleeting dream, and death, like waters clear, drowns every eye. So long as moonlight hangs in its prison on high, I cannot return to my home beloved, even if it be nigh. Where golden light soft through verdant crowns shines, where dawn stars in silver array the pines. O heirs of Hyperborea, mark this song, etch it in your minds fast and strong. Seek not to tread the sly fox path slight, nor yearn for the great bear's haughty might. But so long as him and Runo ring, the far north shall endure an eternal spring. Man, where's Venti? Where's Venti? I understand that, of course, it could be any bard from any time frame. But I want to know who this is who is speaking this. Because I would just assume it was a Hyperborean. But I also can't dismiss it could be someone else recounting things. Because again, this entire collection of hymns was recorded, I believe, like collected together by Onruth, who you can talk to in the Enclave. Prayer Song 1, Pitkamunen, Lord of the Seven Calamities. The summer solstice, burn the season's first sheaf of wheat. To this offering add a hen, an ox, snake gall equal in weight to the grain, as well as 7 cups of blood from redacted. The archpriestesses chants the runos 7 times, then performs divination using animal entrails to appease the gods. O supreme Lord of the sky, merciless and indomitable, Father of all and Mother of the gods, we offer these sacrifices to appease your jealousy, lest your wrath blaze against the earth. O capricious winged one, fierce king who lay waste to nations, God of the unyielding heart. O God of gender unknowable, we plead that you turn from the mortal realm and the children of the farthest north. You have shattered the order of the old laws and offered shelter to mortals, and yet redacted them. You have shaken the ancient dwellings of the Eternals, redacted their wings, and laid waste to their redacted. You are the God of retribution, the vengeful deity. Your will is absolute beneath the moon, never to be disobeyed. In heaven and on earth, your blade, redacted, drinking the redacted of the wicked and the innocent. O redacted and redacted king, before you, the gods are as mere mortals, and mortals not more than insects. No one dares to speak your name, for you shall redact it all who know it. But O pure and wrathful God, we humbly ask you to accept this offering. May the frost moon shield us from the calamities you bring and spare us the fate of eternal suffering. Note from Priestess Onruth. This ritual was abolished 5 centuries ago by decree of Isla, the first moon chanter. It is notable that the prayer's obscured portions were not deliberately redacted, if the relevant records are to be believed. Instead, The archpriestess was to chant in an indistinct manner to avoid provoking the god of 7 calamities. So right out the gate, they said, oh, we worship the heavenly principles. Please don't kill us. Please don't kill us. So reading this, you felt like, at least for me, I can only speak for myself. I love how this is written because you can clearly feel the fear as they chant this. Please don't kill us. We will worship you and do what we need to, but your wrath knows unbound. Also, the multitude of titles that they give the heavenly principles. Supreme Lord of Sky, Capricious Winged One, God of Gender Unknowable, God of Retribution, O blank and blank King, O pure and wrathful God. But the God of 7 calamities, which 7 calamities? Like, this is, I feel in the lore community, for the most part, we kind of just clown about the heavenly principles because it's like, oh, here we have this quite literally Outlander, the sender, coming and colonizing Tava and said, it's mine now. And after the war and then after the cataclysm, has needed to recover for 500 years. And yet, when we hear of everything that they've done, it's like, yeah, they'd win. They literally cannot say their name for fear of retribution. And even though it's like, I do like that they clarified, like, oh, this is just to avoid provoking him or them, excuse me, which I think is hilarious because can you just imagine saying Phanes and then you just get snapped out of existence? Assuming, of course, that is their real name. But this is also, I want to take the opportunity to discuss the many, many names of the heavenly principles. Let us all gather around. As we do not actually do this, take a shot for every time the heavenly principles is named something just so like all encompassing, if that's mispronounced Shibalanke and you get set ablaze. Not even that. If you so much as even think of talking about the heavenly principles, you're smited. But we have Supreme Lord of the Sky, Father of all and Mother of the Gods, Capricious Winged One, God of Gender Unknowable. Pure and wrathful gods. The one I love the most is Reaver from Beyond the Skies, Twirl's hair. Also, welcome everyone who's lurking or just coming in. I just got through the first portion and now I'm just finished with reading about the heavenly principles. So I've been curious, how many heavenly principles are there? That's a good question. Presumably, it's just one entity, but considering it split itself and created 4 shades of itself, it's kind of, I keep saying cosmic horror, but it's the type of like incredibly powerful god that I'm sure if it wanted to, could create more clones of itself if it wanted to. But regarding the heavenly principles as just one entity collectively, at least that's how I interpret it. So, because I don't really see like heavenly principles A, heavenly principles B kind of thing. But I also think heavenly principle, wait, hold on. Heavenly principle, H.P. Lovecraft, I'm connecting the dots that don't exist. No, they exist. I personally always attribute there are no coincidences in this world per Dainsleif for a reason, because this is Hoyoverse we're talking about, and they are very purposeful in how they do certain things, and they clearly have the resources and means and have proven that they go very, very deep into cultural mythological stories. So it's like you can have one central being for the heavenly principles and then they all just branch off because of the clones it's made. Dainsliff reads this book and then crashes out. So true. I want to see his crash out. I got to see Rare's. I want to see Dainsliff. Can I see my husband's crash out just real time? I would appreciate that. I need my annual Conrian crash out. I think we all should be able to see that. Maybe it's a rite of passage. But yeah, H.P. Lovecraft has been referenced multiple times, and especially in Sumeru, I'm blanking on the exact names of the world quests, but they are direct references to it. And then you also have, well, in Natlan, we just had Gosoithoth. So, not sure if this counts as a spoiler, but the Japanese and Chinese names are interesting. Oh, that's interesting, Small Venus. Also, welcome. Because I haven't even personally looked at the Japanese and Chinese names, so I would need to view that myself as well, because that would be really interesting to know. But I do, again, love how they depicted the sheer fear of the supreme deity, which is the heavenly principles. And we are going to redact information or words to not provoke them. May the frost moon shield us from the calamities you bring. And 7 calamities is so interesting too. Because obviously numerology is incredibly important in Genshin Impact. So 7 calamities sounds very, very on the nose. I also like how it says you need 7 cups for the 7 lords. So, but again, I will say when we eventually see the heavenly principles. Oh wait, no, I didn't list all of the titles. I'm so sorry. I got distracted because I started thinking about Finon for a second. Excuse me. So of the titles that the heavenly principles has, my favorite, of course, is Reaver from Beyond the Skies, but there is also the Usurper or Usurper King, the Winged One, which we read, Master of Fortuna or Master of the Four Shades, Lord of the 7 Calamities, Father of All and Mother of Gods, which was, of course, referenced here, Lord of the Sky, which is also referenced here, and of course, Reaver from Beyond the Skies. So I honestly love all of the different titles that the Heavenly Principles get. So, excuse me as I gush a bit. But I will say, should the Heavenly Principles look like Kevin Kaslana, Finon, etc. variant, I will be looking. Will I switch up? No, but I will be looking. I will be looking. So on to Prayer Song 2, Mataraka, Mother of Life. Upon the birth of a child, a pinch of sea salt is offered to the sacred stone. Clergy of assistant priestess rank or higher shall chant the runo 4 times before the newborn is bathed in warm water infused with winter Islia or Iclia. I'm not sure. My apologies. Hear me, O noble Mataraka, mother of gods and mortals. From Hyperborea to Solvendagnir, your compassion is revered by all. You watch over young women, easing their suffering and granting safe passage through childbirth. You rejoice in fecundity, give life to the sublunary sphere, nurture all that grows in nature. You, mother of the waters, who birthed a heart from the roaring primordial ocean. All the birds, beasts, and fish in this world are yours, for you are the one who brought them into being. By your divine will, you shape mortal flesh as a potter shapes clay. Therefore, I pray you bless this newborn child with health, courage, and wisdom. Note from the priestess Anruth. This ritual was abolished 5 centuries ago by decree of Isla, the first moon chanter. In its place, one who is ranked assistant priestess or higher is to recite, "May the new moon illuminate your path" instead. This is meant to invoke protection for the child from the taints of the sublunary sphere. I think it's really interesting how they regard Tavat, or really any possible, I say realm, but I don't mean actual realms or planes. I'll just say Tavat as sublunary, considering it's, well, underneath the true moon. So, sphere. But this is clearly in reference to Nefarious. And we see here that it says the ritual, or excuse me, the Runo is chanted 4 times, which I like in the sense of how all the shades will presumably all be recited 4 times, and the Supreme Lord Giga Chad themselves, the Heavenly Principles, has to have it 7 times. Or not 7 times, I think it was just 7 cups used in these ritual. I believe. No, it is. Okay, it's 7 times. Yes, 7 times with 7 cups. That is too far. But obviously, I really like how we're just going through the divine here. But I'm really curious, because again, I'm assuming this is a Hyperborean writing this, or ancient Moonchanter ? The fact that they mentioned Solve and Dognir is really interesting to me, because we already know that Hyperborea, with the many shenanigans they got up to before having faced divine retribution from the Heavenly Principles. I'm always curious as to how ancient civilizations are like in the know of one another, because when I first see this, I'm like, oh, did Issaroth just give them information about the world? And in addition, the idea of them having so much. But I also have to remember, with Hyperborea, we had the Voyager, who was from beyond, and also had their own sheer amount of knowledge. But I'm just going to go with the easier way and just say it's unified civilization to make my life easier. And it just works that way. And then everyone, of course, branched off. But I really love when in ancient texts, it's also referenced like through ancient texts. Like, I think that's really, really cool. But again, there isn't too much about the Mother of Life herself, because it's very limited. We still don't know too much about Nefarious. Yes, we know that she now exists as Rhineberius, but during this time at least, we don't really know much of her feats outside of creating Egeria, the first Hydra Archon, and through the Primordial Sea, which I think is still really interesting to this day. So, presumably new information in the future. Prayer Song 3. Buonatar, Mother of the Underworld. During the autumn harvest, animal sacrifices are offered in accordance with the social status of those who died that year. The prepared animals are placed in intricately carved wooden or bronze vessels, shaped like boats, to be burned. Before the burning, a clergy member of assistant priestess rank or higher removes the eyes of each animal and presents them separately to the mistress of the underworld. With eyes veiled by a dark cloth, the archpriestess then chants the Runo 4 times and performs divination using animal entrails to please the deity. O mistress of the dead, slow to be moved and without expression, O shadowy lady of the underworld, somber, taciturn, fearsome Tuonatar, you abhor the arrogant and the disrespectful, and from your grasp there is no escape. Your feet had trod both the humble hut and the gilded throne. The people fear you, for you see all, hear all, and judge all. We revere you for your boundless grace and all-embracing nature. The fate of all living beings rests solely in your hands, and you remain unmoved no matter how fervent the plea. Yet, noble and majestic goddess, we know that gentleness and mercy are your first nature. Just as you granted our ancestors liberation from suffering and extended it not, O mistress of death, you who know the fates of all under the moon, accept our humble offering. The descendants of the far north beseech you, now that the golden bloodline has returned to your bosom, that you lead us across the nether dark stream and let us sleep eternal in a dreamless dream. Note from Priestess Onruth. This ritual was abolished by decree of Isla, the first moon chanter, 5 centuries ago. Now, when an adherent of the Frost Moon dies, regardless of social status, an assistant priestess or someone of a higher rank is to recite instead, "May the new moon lead you to a shore of peace." A simple and solemn funeral is then conducted. I went too far. So we can clearly see this is about Renova. But this is something that I find so fascinating and fun, is that once again, it's eye imagery. We see from her official design how she is covered in eyes. We see from the thousand-eyed god, like the statue of presumably her and Inazuma, all of the eyes on the wings. In A's entire kit, we have eyes and everything here. And then in the ritual itself, the moon chanters themselves, or the priestesses that do perform said ritual, have to cover their eyes while also removing the eyes of animals that are sacrificed. So, also something that I really, really like is the detail of how it's all of these sacrifices and these offerings are to be burned. And we know the relation between fire and death. And we just see that with Hu Tao. We see that with the Staff of Homa. And I think that's a beautiful nod to that. But obviously how dark it is to give an offering to the god of death who sees all. It's the fact that they say, "The people fear you, for you see all, hear all, and judge all." But no one can escape death. No one. So this is interesting in the sense of, while we don't have new lore about Ronova in the sense of her role and a new title for her, I did really like this final line, because of course my mind immediately went to Dainsleif, and that you lead us across the Nether's dark stream and let us sleep eternal in a dreamless dream. Even though they were referring to a peaceful death, I can't help but think of where people dream of dreaming, so excuse me. Renova has omnipresence confirmed that Big Ol' Eye sees all of Teyvat. I mean, I think all of the shades can see all of Teyvat in their own way, because I feel they all see, they can see all of Teyvat in their own way. We have Istaroth, who is the biggest asterisk to me because she is the embodiment of time. We have the Shade of Life, who I understand is now Rhynberius, but life exists just everywhere for the most part, asterisk again. And through her, which of course is fitting for Gold to of course be with the Shade of Life, there's a lot there. And then obviously with Renova, she is death. And death is around every single corner. But what's fascinating to me, Barry, I completely agree, because I was just about to mention this, how much fear exists from these 5 alone, while they are worshipped out of fear. Obviously, for the most part, I understand, or at least to me, how I interpret it. Out of the 4, I say 5, including the Heavenly Principles, of the shades, the 2 that are, I suppose, the ones most connected to humanity that they may feel more endeared to would be Istaroth, possibly, and then Naberius. But again, that's just my own speculation. But again, there's still fear there, because they can easily just take mortal life, or really any life if they want to, through different means. The statue of the omnipresent god being a big offering TM comprised of confiscated visions and still gets me. Wow, it's the layers. So what even are humans to Phanes? Do they even like humans? It's so weird. I think Phanes, I'll just say Phanes in regards to the Heavenly Principles. I think Phanes just has an interesting relationship with humanity, considering humans, Because the way that I read a lot of anything that they do feels like it's the most Decarabian helicopter parent kind of motive in how they handle literally any and everything. Because if we go back to Mondstadt, which honestly I would laugh if Decarabian was the setup for the Heavenly Principles, quite literally, we understand that Decarabian was a tyrant, even though he himself did not view himself as such, you know, as history shows. But all of the people that were within Decarabian's Mondstadt suffered because of him. And he also closed off Mondstadt with gusts and winds because he believed that what he was doing was best for humanity, even though they were suffering underneath him. And I think for Phanes, again, this is just speculation on my part, it feels like what Phanes is doing is truly out of love and care, but they have to remove themselves from an it's basically, I know what's best for you, and I'm going to keep doing this every single time to not only protect you, but to prove a point. So, and I do strongly feel like Phanes does have love for humanity, but I think they are at a point where their love is very, like, I feel like I'm so upset because the more I think about Phanes, if it goes down the route, I think I'm gonna end up writing like a 5,000 word essay about why Phanes was like kind of right. It's not really, because I don't want to get too like into it. Again, this is just theories and speculation, but it gives me, yeah, like overbearing helicopter parent that has an iron fist, and the shades are mortified of him, Renova especially. And the more and more he tries to protect, I keep saying the more and more they try to protect humanity, the more that they push them away and they separate themselves. Also, where did Phanes come from? We don't have any information about Phanes, like outside of, I say we don't have any information, like we know what they've done in Tevat, but we don't know anything about them beforehand. Will we know about their history? Maybe not, but them coming to Tevat and then opening up and like establishing a whole new world for humanity. And then every subsequent time that civilizations question for more knowledge or attempt to do the most TM, they are quickly checked. And by checked, I mean sorry if you heard that, there is a divine pillar that destroys them. Because even, of course, like the most evident of that was during the Great War of Vengeance. Like afterwards, the Heavenly Principles used divine nails to cleanse Tevat, or attempt to cleanse with the divine nails, and that did catastrophic damage to everything. I feel like, again, whatever Phanes is attempting to do, presumably, and this is again just my speculation, comes from a good place, but it's not going to ever execute well because they work so much around them is based on fear. So there's such a, if this is not the end, I will keep walking deity. Listen. All I'm saying is that I will be looking and judging very harshly and critically. But the more and more we get ancient texts like this, the more I'm like, where's my Heavenly Principles face reveal? Let me see them. Because right now we only have the view of everyone else but the shades, but the divine. So, but I say all of this to say I really feel like Decarabian was not supposed to be, but I would be very shocked if it isn't an indicator as to what Phanes has done and will continue to do. Because I believe Barry mentioned earlier, because I remember this was during the Inaz, this was during like years ago, like a few years ago. in regard to relation and the parallels between Dekarabian and A, and how she had to come to her own understanding of how her version of eternity was dangerous, unhealthy, and destroying her people. So once we get that kind of expansion, but we see more about the shades in their story and things like that, it'll be interesting. But yeah, I know this is about Renova, and I just went on a tangent about the heavenly principles. I am so sorry. We had to drag A out of her bubble and to actually see her people. We did have to get her out of her room. Fanny's is interesting because they are recovering. We don't know where they are. We just, from the most recent update from Renova herself, they're still inactive. When they will wake up? Question mark. So if we had to kill her, would Yai because the Archon, do you think? Wait, are you asking if we had to kill sorry, if we had to kill Raiden A? Is that what you were asking, Verdigris? We gotta be quiet, let them sleep. No, I need for the heavenly fraud to wake up because I need to see things. I need to see things. Before saying it, I wanted to ask, can I point out the thing in Chinese and Japanese names? Oh yeah. So long as it isn't, like leaks or anything, and it's just, like a translation, that's completely fine. I genuinely think by the end of Luna, they will wake up. Well, that's the thing. I remember asking on Twitter if people think that the Heavenly Principles will wake up. And people brought up valid points of, well, the Divine Hydra was destroyed. They didn't wake up. The Soithoth was just in Natlan. They didn't wake up. But I feel it's just... We're getting to a point where something they have to wake up. Like, they can't just stay asleep. The names use the same characters as Paimon's name. Are you referring to I feel it might be incapacitated rather than sleep. See, that's with that's something that I keep debating because I do fully feel like they're recovering because they did defeat Nibelung. But also, Nibelung was like the only individual who could really go like band for band against him. So like for me, I feel like if they're taking this long to recover, are they actually recovering? Or are they trying to... I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. So yeah, that's just something that really is on my mind. I really feel like Luna, like version Luna 1 has to be, or any of the, not Luna 1, any of the Luna versions, we're going to have some form of them waking up. It has to be. Like, I feel it's going to be a tease or anything, but it's going to be something, whether a voice, who knows. Pitkanunen's name in Chinese and Japanese use the same characters as Paimon's name. Wow, that's really interesting, actually. I remember when I first saw the name, I'm like, huh, another P name. Interesting. This definitely doesn't add up to anything, Smile. But yeah, that's really, that's so... Once again, Paimon is never beating the very suspicious allegations. Nah, I think they're dying and they're going to take the world with them. That's why those Fatui are so desperate. Oh my goodness, I missed that. If the Fatui moon contraption is aiming at the false guy, I feel like if it is a big enough blast and not the tiny crack Malika did, feels like maybe it'll wake them up. I feel like, to me, I feel like if the false sky is shattered, that would absolutely be like I need to, like, what's going on? Like, maybe he's like a sleeper agent and they just like wake up immediately. But Because if you have a supreme being as powerful as Phanes, and with everything that's been going on to Teyvat, they have not recovered, there has to be a reason outside of just recovering. Because someone as powerful as that, okay, you would just regain your power back unless something is deliberately stopping you from doing what you need to do. So we'll see. Because again, when we finish Act 2, well, just learning about Columbina, if we are to actually have, like, for her to restore her power, she's struggling to recover. Her power has not returned to her. It would need to have some degree of, I need to see the false sky, or I need to go beyond the false sky because I need to get to the source of my power, the Frost Moon. Also, Small Venus, thank you so much for the tier 1 subscription. Thank you so, so much. So, okay, I went on a complete tangent. I am so sorry. I love ancient Teyvat history. It is so fun to talk about. I love talking about the shades, heavenly principles, Paimon, because she is, and everything in between. So let me continue and go with the next prayer song. I'm going to pronounce this as Limelia. Oh, Limelia. I'll say Limelia. Prayer song for Limelia, Mother of Time. On the winter solstice, a cloth bearing the year's significant events is burned, and its ashes are gathered in a silver cup filled with pure water. The archpriestess chants the runo 4 times, and when the wind begins to stir, they anoint the verdant crest with the blessed mixture to honor the divinity. O pure and eternal Mother of Time, sovereign who was never born and who shall never die. You create all and destroy all. You remember all and allow them to be forgotten. You who in the moment of your birth also gave birth to yourself, O Supreme Mother. You are the one stillness within the endless flow, the one outsider in the sacred courtyard of the gods. May you protect the 4 imprisoned moons. May you protect the 4 imprisoned moons. You are the one outsider in the sacred courtyard of the gods, the one stillness within the endless flow. O Supreme Mother, who in the moment of your own birth also gave birth to yourself. You remember all and allow all to be forgotten. You create all and destroy all. O sovereign who shall never die and who has never been born, pure and eternal Mother of Time. Note from Priestess Arnruth. The meaning of this prayer remains obscure, and the ritual described herein contradicts established historical records. The verdant crest, a divine tree that appeared at the birth of the Moon Maiden 5 centuries ago, should not feature in any account of rituals predating that event. As no other known text reference these rites, this is presumed to be a scribal error. Nevertheless, this passage has been preserved unaltered for the sake of textual fidelity. Okay, Miss Ma'am, Miss Isterop herself. Okay, let's talk about Mother. We have to talk about Mother. I just want to say, O pure and eternal Mother of Time, sovereign who has never been born and who shall never die. The way that they describe these gods is so poetic and so hard. Like, I love that so, so much. But it's so firstly, the ritual in hymn that is to be chanted for her has to be when the winds are stirring, which obviously is a nod towards the connection between wind and time. And then the verdant crest itself, which is reportedly a divine tree that should not have existed in the time prior to the Moon Maiden's birth. But wouldn't it be really funny if we've already encountered a tree that was planted in the past because of Isteroth? So that's also interesting. But when reading this, I found it so beautiful and also just as haunting that they pray for her to protect the 4 imprisoned moons, and they say it multiple times. They repeat this multiple times. You create all and destroy all. You remember all and allow them to be forgotten. You who in the moment of your birth also gave birth to yourself, O Supreme Mother. You are the one outsider in the sacred courtyard of the gods. And they say this again. The repeating cycles of time and just the repeating phrases in this is also so on the nose. Because again, Istaroth, as is described in just the concept of a time deity, you have existed since time immemorial. You were born and you were born yourself, but you will not die. You will create all, you can destroy all. All memories are contained within your power and you can take them all away. But while I really appreciate how many times this is, because I want to go into the May You Protect the 4 Imprisoned Moons in a second, my favorite line in this is you are the one stillness within the endless flow, the one outsider in the sacred courtyard of the gods. I think this is really trying, and again, I could be completely overthinking this, but I really, really feel like this is a push in the please pay attention to Istaroth. Please pay attention to her because she is regarded as an outsider, and throughout the years, she has always been involved in one way or another the ancient civilizations, history of Tevat, things of that nature. And I don't mean just girl was around. She was doing the work, even though Venti describes her as being indifferent to, I won't say humanity, but indifferent to the wishes towards her. Why this is, perhaps the jadedness of her existing as a being of time, is that reason. But Istaroth herself, to me, is my favorite and most fascinating of the shades because I firmly believe that she is doing something behind the heavenly principles back that has already been set in motion at some period in time. So the fact that she is regarded as the one outsider in the sacred courtyard of the gods, presumably the most divine, she can do things that the other ones cannot. And whether it's because of her indifference, her power, or what have you, I think she is going to be a key factor for humanity's perseverance in the future. I feel like I just got so focused in on Istaroth because this is so fascinating to me. Not only did she, the verdant crest, I hope we learn more about that. Because yet another divine tree that appeared in ancient times that was not supposed to exist before historical records detail. Oh, so she's different from the other shades. So Venus, for me, while they're all shades, I feel she is the exception. She is that variable that people cannot, you don't know what she will do and what she can do. As a being of time, and again, this is heavy speculation from me. But compared to the other shades, I feel that Istaroth has much more leeway just because of the concept of time and wind and how they work in Tevat. Because to me, I do feel like she has, for a being like her who's existed like time immemorial, I'm just going to say, her involvement with humanity, I think, is a very tragic one. Not in the sense that she hates humanity, by no means. I don't believe that. I think she's indifferent to how much death and the same cyclical formula we see with them throughout the years, and perhaps she's become jaded through that. But she has helped them multiple times. I understand that during God's Limits, again, the beginning, if we were to assume that that space that was created, or that project was created by Ryan Berius, and then later closed by Renova, during that space, Istaroth gave humanity, that form of humanity, history, like ancient history and the truth of the world before, of course, they were destroyed. And she did that to quote unquote pass the time. So to me, when you look at her, what she's done over the course, like recently, she provided Makoto with the seed, the sacred sakura seed, to protect Inazuma. She provided Enkanomiya with wisdom, specifically the sage Abrax, to create the Dainichi Mikoshi, an artificial sun, to protect them against the Vishops. Then she also, well, she's just doing the most. She also, as per a space and time for you, converged timelines so that the siblings would meet. And therefore, sorry, I'm just like going through all the silliness she's done, but also as a character, what that means. So I really do feel because she exists as her own anomaly, she has far more reach and can get away with things in the manner that Renova, Rhineberius, and Asmodee, wherever she is, can do. So the Hisi Island World Quest, more Verdant Crest stuff there. Ooh, that's really interesting. I definitely need to do those. I really do. Because I love Hisi Island. The lore in Luna 1 is through the roof, and I really, really like that. Both space and time converge. I think Asmodee and Istaroth are together in their plans. Oh, I wholly agree. I completely agree. I mean, space-time, it makes sense. I think she can and does intervene, but there are constraints. I would also agree with that. I don't believe that her powers are limitless in the sense that she could just do whatever she wants, but she does and can, I feel, get away with more things than, say, Renova obviously cannot, or Rhineberius can. That also angered the Vishops because it was her energies. Yeah, they were really upset. She was also the one that mentioned that finding Asmodee may do more harm than good. Makes me wonder if she's trying to convince the others to not look for her. Well, and that's another thing too, because I do firmly believe that Istaroth has her own ulterior motives, but a part of me still can't, like, I really feel like, again, this could just be me huffing so much copium. I feel that she presents herself and may be in the form of like a detached parent, in the sense of, I feel there's a lot of love from her that she has, but she can't express it maybe how she wants. Yet we see throughout history she's tried to help humanity and has, even though things have ended in, you know, select ways. Or who knows, maybe she's just doing it for funsies, you know. But I firmly do believe that, I completely agree with you, Vega. I do feel that Asmodee and Istaroth both are working together. And I think the reason why we have no information about Asmodee is because of Istaroth. I can't explain it, but I really feel like those two they're planning something. I also wonder if Istaroth is a little resigned because she has seen the future. I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case. I wouldn't, because when you are a being of, like, obviously I'm not, but like in a fantasy setting, if you're like a being of supreme power, of whatever concept, or like, actually no, specifically concepts, like the concept of time specifically, you would become very jaded. It would be very easy, I should say, to become very jaded because of everything that you've experienced and what you have seen and what you know. So for her, I'm very curious how her involvement will continue, because again, she quite literally was just doing things like, what, a few business days ago with Diridith, the Traveler sibling, and the Traveler. So I'm alert, Corn on the UCOP time. Have fun with UCOP. You guys are so close. You can get the clear. I believe in you. her and Asmodee feel very, we'll do what we can in the margins, but we're still cooked broadly. I feel, where is it? I feel like I missed some replies. I do find it curious. It could be me reaching, but her body language becomes really closed off when they talk about the heavenly principles. Like she hugs her knees and like becomes almost smaller. No, I completely agree. I mean, they all to a degree, with the exception of Rhine-Daughter, but Rhine-Daughter doesn't really care about anything. Where Renova appears to be the most afraid of the heavenly principles because she's already walking on eggshells because she helped with the Night Kingdom and they did not like that at all. Isteroth herself appears very bored and it feels like she's dissociating in their conversation. But then when she comes to, again, that was mentioned before, she's like, maybe we shouldn't even look for Asmodee. Or, you know, maybe I should just be elsewhere. Also, I think, was it Renova specifically who said we may need to be involved? And Isteroth looked really like, ugh, I don't want to do this. Kind of. So, the way Rhine-Daughter is just hanging out and does not care. Rhine-Daughter does not. And I love that for her because she's really funny. She said, yeah, you guys are shades. I do not care about that at all. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. You guys have fun. I'm going to see what I can do. And they really do just tolerate her. They really, really do. they tolerate her for sure. All the shades, minus Rhine-Daughter, exude a strong fear of Phanes where it feels like they're constantly walking on eggshells. I wonder what Phanes has done to the point where even the shades fear them. That's a good question. Because I also have to wonder how deep that fear is. Again, because like you said, what have they seen? What do they know? What have they experienced? So yes. And I say all this to say, again, I love how they wrote about Isteroth here. I wonder what the threat is. Like, would Phanes just delete or reset them or reabsorb them? It could be any and all. Which is a wild concept. Like, you are of me and you need to check yourself. And he just absorbs them again. That'd be... like, I feel it would be so tragic if we watched... You know, like how La Senora, like, bit the dust from Shogun? If we experienced that with a shade, with Phanes coming back, I would actually scream. That would be so scary. But again, just hypotheticals and all. But okay. This is so... I'm sorry, this is quickly becoming... I'm not going to say it's becoming Before in Sun and Moon for me, but in a sense, I feel like it is because it's so funny. But at the same time, if Phanes dies, wouldn't the shades also die? So for me, I'm wondering if they're going to do the tried and true, if my body perishes, my will continue on, so I won't ever really die. But also, I have to wonder truly how much autonomy the shades actually have with Phanes. Like, do they just allow the shades to do this right now? And if they were to really, I suppose, misbehave, we're talking about a helicopter, like, abusive parent, like, making sure that everyone's in check kind of thing. But I don't know. This is just, again, speculation. I don't know to the degree. They could be completely removed in their own gods. Like, maybe he used, like, a base of themselves as the and the copies of themselves became shades and manifested in their own ways, and now they exist as their own thing. So I don't know. But again, that's more... I would have to really think more about the connection, like how direct they are, if they're all really connected like that. But also something I wanted to talk on too, because Isteroth being the outsider, being the one who would be able to have silly shenanigans, is may you protect the 4 imprisoned moons. Now, to me, reading this feels like it's from a time that, I mean, it's obviously, ancient, but may you protect the 4 imprisoned moons then implies that this is after, this would be after the Great War of Vengeance. No, this is before. Because Nibelung was here, then Nibelung left, created the moons, had them govern, heavenly principles came, colonized, took over the 3 moons. The 4th one that failed to become a complete moon is now Nodcry. And so I have to wonder. Oh, so Venus. So the 4 imprisoned moons now, again, this is just from my own speculation. We know for a fact that Nibelung created the 3 moons, but there was a 4th moon that was a 4th incomplete moon. You learn about this not only from, actually, I think the primary reason is from the web event, the Nodcry concept overview web event. And I believe it also may be mentioned. I don't remember if it's in Fractured Halo, in Nepha's signature, or if Columbina mentions it in the 2nd act, and I just cannot remember. But yes, there were a total of 4 moons. The 3 moons are the goddesses we know, but the 4th moon was incomplete and became Nodcry. I just wondered why the 4th would be mentioned if it was a failed moon. So, well, that's the thing. So I feel like to say something has failed is, there are layers to that. And I think the 4th incomplete moon becoming Nodcry, like I still, in my heart, I'm like, oh, I feel like a remnant of that or some coalescence of energy or something would become a being. Like because I theorize that the 4th incomplete moon would have been Columbina, but she is just the power of the cross moon. So it's really interesting. Like I have to believe that it's in relation there, but may you protect the 4 imprisoned moons is such a sad sentence. Maybe the physical moon in the sky was failed. There could still be a goddess associated to it. Well, and that's the thing. So I'm like, okay, even if it's like a failed moon, I would assume there is some form of entity with it. Yeah, the web event mentioned it, and he's the Island World Quest Exploration. Okay. Excuse me. Yeah. So Columbina is Venti's cousin confirmed. I do think it'd be cute to have Columbina and Venti interact. I know for a fact that has to happen. It has to. Also, I want to thank everyone for the follows and the lurks. It really means a lot. Hello. I'm just speculating live while reading this. And I'm just on Istaroth. I haven't even gotten to the rest of it yet. Prayer Song 5, Missing. I think we can all assume that this is about Asmodee. And interestingly, it is not recorded. That is just my speculation, but I strongly believe that it has to do with Asmodee. And because it's missing and she's missing, it just, yeah. This is so funny because it just reminds me of DS3 in the sense of the Nameless King being erased from the annals of history, and that just makes me think of Asmodee in the situation. She's like, nope. I don't want any history of me anywhere. Which is so funny because what do you mean Asmodee is completely missing? Like all history of her is missing, yet we have information about the Winged One themselves, and information about them is just redacted sometimes. Hello. Which is so interesting to me. Like, oh, we can learn about the Supreme Giga Chad, like super huge boss guy, but Asmodee, oh no. Don't be silly. Nope. Who was that? Also, I do apologize. The Heavenly Principles is canonically genderless and as well as androgynous. So, but I just default to he And if you, oh, okay. This is so funny to me. This is still so funny to me. But volume 2 time. Again, I am very sorry for butchering these names. Prayer Song 6. Akoya Ioniquinen, the primeval blacksmith. O great father of Genesis, forger of the earth's bones and the tripled moons, let your wrath right that askew throne, so that the beauty may submit. On the first day, you forged a golden bow with lunar gleam, a weapon meant to strike your foes. Yet while you hunted, your bow was stolen, and now your enemy brandishes it as their own. On the second day, you forged a great chariot, its moonlit glimmer meant to guard your home. Yet while you hunted, your wain was purloined, and your enemy claimed it as their own. On the third day, you forged a shuttle of moonlight, your heart set on the daughter of the stars. Yet, in your recklessness, you wandered into a fog-drenched swamp, and the forge of light was quenched. You are the king, spoken of yet unspeakable, O bloodthirsty, murderous blacksmith. You are the master of misfortune, the lord of all evil, obsessed with the unjust deaths of the innocent and the ruinous fires of war. O terrible and mighty eternal workman, lord of two natures, so strong, hale, and heroic as the gods themselves. Even the stars look upon you in awe. O indestructible Lord, please quiet this earth-shaking wrath. Lift the torment that occupies my heart and cast out this pitch-black disaster. Note from Priestess Onruth. This is an ancient form of prayer once used to quell the fury of nature. Though records whisper of a lost variant, its final 4 lines meant to summon, rather than quell, natural disasters. It vanished from memory long before the birth of the Moon Maiden for reasons unknown. The moon chanter Isla, first to hold the title, later revised and simplified this prayer. Her version, presented below, is now recognized as the standard for all recitations. O pale white frost moon, in the name of the descendants of the far north, I beseech you to appease this earth-shaking wrath. May your gentle light soothe the lingering pain that occupies our hearts and cast out that pitch-black disaster. So volume 2 strongly starts with shading Nibelung. Now, I just want to say, the description in this book, the titles, the details, the hymns themselves, fantastic, chilling. I love them. So first, the primeval blacksmith. I appreciate how, once again, it's clearly a nod to the Ring of Nibelung because, well, not only was it created by Richard Wagner, and Wagner is a blacksmith that we meet in Mondstadt, but the fact that Nibelung is regarded as a blacksmith. And when you think about it, I had made this offhanded comment of the Heavenly Principles is regarded as the primordial one, but in actuality, the primordial one would technically be Nibelung, considering he was born alongside Tevat and was the first, he was doing it and everything. So that I find really fascinating, how as we go through the first, second, and third day, in addition to everything that he has done has been usurped. The first day, you forged a golden bow with a lunar gleam. It was meant to strike down his foes. Enemy has it now. Second day, you forged a great chariot. Its moonlit glimmer meant to guard your home. But while you were gone, your enemy claimed it as their own. On the third day, you shot for the stars. You wanted to see beyond the stars. And in your recklessness, your enemy claimed everything. And also, you brought back the abyss. So, your title, your power, your chariot, your planet, all of it was taken from you. All of it. Also, Vega, I do agree. The Nibelung shade is very funny. They didn't have to shade him like that, but also it's as funny as it is in terms of being shady, it also is heartbreaking because you have the original ruler of this planet having everything stripped from him. So when you're backed into a corner and you also will not respond kind to someone coming to your planet and wishing to take over everything, you're going to do whatever you can to kill them and keep the order you have established. And then to further go on to say the way they describe him, you are the king spoken of yet unspeakable, bloodthirsty, murderous, mighty eternal workman, lord of two natures, lord of all evil is wild. That is so heartbreaking. But what's most interesting too is that this was a summon. Like this chant was supposed to be a summon for natural disasters. So we're just chanting in the hopes of natural disasters in Nibelung's name because of how powerful and wrathful he is. But removing all the silliness aside, this is heartbreaking. Because regardless of how you feel about the dragons, I will always be empathetic and compassionate to a degree of them, but especially Nibelung in the sense that he felt that his people would go beyond the stars and this was their home, and their home was taken from them forcibly. So to me, in my eyes, not only do I not blame him, but it doesn't surprise me that he would seek to the powers of the abyss in an attempt to completely destroy Phanes. This really makes me dislike Phanes even more. They just swooped in and claimed everything as their own. They just give off colonizer energy. No, they are. But also, I'm sure there's going to be more like layers to it. But regardless of how it is, regardless of the POV, it is always Nibelung loses. Like historically, like he loses everything that he's created, things that his peoples have created. They were taken. It's just a tragic tale. And I think when you really go deep into the Dragon's history too, also shout out Natlan for giving us some of the best world quests ever. Their fate, it's haunting. Because what do you mean, this is my planet and you're taking my planet from me and you've now also destroyed everything that I've created? You've also killed my sovereign, and now the remaining dragons are either killed or they have to flee somewhere. Wait, is Phanes non-binary? Canonically, yes. Phanes is an androgynous and genderless god. They just exist. Oh god of gender unknowable. We cannot compute their gender. A pep that could never make me hate you. So true. A pep was so valid in everything she said. Nahida's like, well, I have to really cleanse you of the abyssal energy and you're going to destroy all of Sumeru. And a pep's like, good. I want all of you to die. I want Tivat to completely get leveled because you all suck. I hate all of you. You people are awful and I hate the Archons. I could not hate you even more. And even after they purify her, she's like, okay, well, that's cute. I still cannot wait until you die, Nahida. I cannot wait. I'll see what you can do, but I cannot wait until that time comes because I will devour you as well. And I have to commend like the hatred. Like Kendrick Lamar would be so proud. Like she hates so much. And I feel if anyone hates the state of Tivat is in, or at least the shades and the heavenly principles, the sovereigns and dragons are 100% justified. She said puny Buren meant that. Oh, she did. She stood she stood her ground and said it with her chest. Like, of course, I do feel like she will be more tolerable. I was going to say kinder, but that's not what I want to say. She cannot wait until not only humanity, but the Archons fall. And I feel like the Archons are the biggest stab in their back because it's like, what do you mean? I had my authority taken from me because of your leader. Hello? K-Dot reference if I get you, Lord. Thank you. No, I like when they introduced a pep, she is one of my favorite gods in the game. Well, I say gods, but like sovereigns in the game because out the gate, she said, Nahida, I do not care. I do not care. I cannot wait. I can't wait. I cannot wait to see you burn. I cannot wait for everything to be destroyed around you. Because even ignoring her hate, Apep herself quite literally was a world. The earliest of life forms in Tevat existed within her. And then in an attempt to also fight back against the heavenly principles and their shades, the dragons imbued themselves with forbidden knowledge. So yes, I understand from a story perspective, we need to purify her because we will not have a Sumeru if she is out here completely corrupted. But I will always love her because she said, I'd rather be corrupted than have any relation to any of you Archons. I will never, ever like you. The only reason I haven't done so yet is because the writers won't let me. Like, she's a whole sovereign. She is a whole sovereign waiting. So, sorry, I get so excited talking about Apep because I love her so much. She's so funny. But okay, let me continue. Focalors was smart for inviting Neuvillette in and making him care about... Oh, absolutely. She said, you know what? He spawned in. I found him. How can I get him to like humanity? My entire plan hinges on him liking humanity. Please become a judge and figure out if you like humanity or not. You do? Great. All right. Here's your authority back. Of course, we wouldn't even have that if Furina didn't do a fantastic job. Easily one of my favorite characters in the entire game. But Focalors said, I pray to God you come around to love humanity, Neuvillette. Focalors really won him over by making him a bourgeoisie justice. I think what's fascinating there is that one, I'm just reminded of when she was like, so anyway, I cursed her, which is so funny, talking about Furina. But also how Focalors' love for humanity and complete disregard to Celestia. Like obviously she wanted to subvert the prophecy did happen, but she wanted to cleanse humanity of their sins. And I just love how after everything she gave him back his authority. And of course he was able to, do the thing. But I just see now, like I'm thinking about like Focalors. I'm gonna get distracted. I'm trying not to get distracted right now. But I will say I completely agree in the sense that it is a good thing that Neuvillette is on, I say our side, quote unquote. I don't know if people remember this, but in the Fun 10 Archon quest, the reason he's even so like relatively friendly with the Traveler is because they are a neutral party. He said because you're not affiliated with any real faction or anything. You do communicate and do all of that with the Archons, but squints. Legally, I can vibe with you. So I'm just like, oh my God, I get to see the Hydra Sovereign. Like, oh my God. I love him very much. But also legally, I can vibe with you is hilarious. 'But I say all of this to say, We absolutely at some point have to have some form of flashback, animation cutscene about Nibelung. We have to. Murals are cute, but what did he really look like? Let me see this gargantuan, massive dragon. Also, the fact that, so this is already a different tangent, but all the sovereigns are destined to be reborn. We have Nivelette. And I strongly feel like Nibelung is around Squints. So I need to see him. For me, I want to see more dragons. I'm going to be selfish. I want to see more dragons. Like, I want to see the Electro Sovereign. Like, I understand that, yes, they can perish, they can die through any, like, some means, but they just reincarnate. Neuvillette spawned in and was swimming around in Fontaine for God knows how long until Fauchelor said, sweetie, you're going to be a judge. So, do you think we'll ever get a human form of Nibelung? I'm going to reserve my comment because if we do, moving on, let's go to, listen, but also they don't have to be a human looking. Like, I agree with Koibito. Also, hi, Koi. Like, you don't, or any character really, they don't have to be human, but knowing Hoyoverse, they probably will be humanoid. So, I'm just saying again, a human version of Nibelung, I would be looking. But also because I generally just like dragons, so. Kukulkan modeled by Beloved, but that's the thing. They could have any of the dragon characters look like that if they wanted to. Because when I tell you my feed was nothing but thirsting for Kukulkan for like 2 weeks straight on Twitter. So I kind of worry about Nibelung. So, yes, this is heartbreaking to read. I know we can have our silly moments, but this is honestly just really sad. Everything I learned about Nibelung, like the more I read about it, even though he by no means was, you know, like a saint, it's still heartbreaking. So, all right. I remember when I first saw Kukulkan, I was like, oh my god, is he gonna be he's gonna be a hear me out, isn't he? Okay, but that's the thing. I won't go too deep into it, but sometimes when I see hear me out, it's like Squints, guys. Hear me outs have to be something completely unconventional. But that's a different conversation I'll leave until once I'm finished with this. Gosh, because now I'm reminded of the amount of times I've heard like silly memes of, for instance, guys will say, hear me out, and it's the most conventionally attractive anime character ever. It's like, yep. But I digress. I want to make sure. Okay, yes, this was about Nibelung, and then every time it mentions the pitch black disaster, obviously that's in reference to the abyss. So, prayer song 11. Also, we jumped from, so 6 to, so there are 5 prayer songs we're not privy to. I wonder what those are, but I digress. Prayer song 11. The goddess of the dawn star and apostle of the far north. Koitar and Soitervonen. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, so I apologize. I call upon Koitar, wife of Soitervonen and first, fairest daughter of the creator god. O generous maiden and bright morning star, your deeds are forever praised in music by the descendants of the far north. The cold wind of night cannot extinguish the silver flame within our chests, nor can its perilous darkness corrupt our hearts. One day we shall return home through the wild grasses of the lonely graveyards to the majestic golden city. I call upon you, Koitar, truly blessed to cast your favor upon our conquests. Excuse me, even as you once subdued all nations with your might. I call upon you to shake the earth, to make the cities tremble, and to let the enemies of the far north vanish like dew beneath the frost moon. Note from Priestess Onruth. This prayer is an older form, preserved from a time long past. It was later significantly revised by Isla, the first moon chanter. The following text is now recognized as the standard for all recitations. The icy winds cannot extinguish the silver flame within our chests, nor shall the evil mites corrupt our hearts. O pale white frost moon, protect the descendants of the far north, and let the pitch black disasters of the cold night melt away like morning dew. Koitar, wife of Swetervonen. So when I read I call upon Koitar, wife of the Swetervonen, wife of Sedervonen, and first fairest daughter of the creator god, if I personally read first fairest daughter of the creator god, I think of the first angel. O generous maiden and bright morning star, your deeds are forever praised in music by the descendants of the far north. So she is eulogized, her legacy, through music. I think this is kind of just... The goddess of the dawn star and the apostles of the far north. Goddess of the dawn star, huh? I'd have to sit on this a bit more. But wait, hold on. I call upon you, Koitar, truly blessed, to cast your favor upon our conquests, even as you once subdued all nations with your might. So we have about Koitar, but not more on Sedervonen. Okay. I'm going to come back to this. Prayer Song 16. Okay, so we jump from 11 to 16. Interesting. Prayer Song 16. Excuse me. Sarilainen? I am so sorry, everyone. I can't speak. I can't pronounce these names well. I'm so sorry. Sarilainen. The stranger on winter's day. Oh, let not the death pangs you suffered pass into me, lover of frost and winter. You cheerful, fair, kind-hearted lad, noble born and nobly raised, a gentle and valiant son. Upon the starry seed, you rode across the forsaken isle of Hisi and the dark, mist-shrouded lands of Pohjola. There, to court the daughter of Pakaisuko, that peerless beauty, at her home, then old Pakaisuko, servant of our forebears, answered thus. He will grant the young lady's hand in marriage if you should open for him the gates of Pohjola. Cheerful, fair, kind-hearted one, you knew well that wicked scheme, yet you went forth freely. For were you not to go, old Pakaisuko would have his gullible daughter suffer the punishment instead. In dark and foggy Pohjola, the Lord of the 7 calamities carve you into 7 pieces. And that young and pure girl, the daughter of Pakaisuko, shall never again be wed. O lost hero, I call upon you by your unspeakable name, you the healer of the world's sorrows and misfortunes, and may your grace still the wild winds of the frigid night and bring warmth to the young birds huddled in the frozen earth. Note from the priestess Onruth. This is an old version of a prayer for wound healing and the curing of disease that was later revised and simplified by the first moon chanter, Isla. The following text is now recognized as a standard for all recitations. So, okay. Okay. You know what? I asked for it. I can't be upset. We have third Descender lore. What do you mean? Okay, so first and foremost, I want to know who this is, Bakaisuko. I'm also really sorry for mispronouncing these names. Oh my god, I love pathetic men. Like the fact that he's like, well, if I don't marry her and open the gates, she'll die. And then he was like, Lamau, thanks, even though you're dead now. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. So his daughter, he was going to let Sarulan Saturday. Okay. Let me collect myself. First and foremost, so he was going to marry her to open the gates of Poyola. I'm not sure what Poyola actually means. I'm not sure what gates this necessarily refers to. I don't know if it's like abyssal gates or otherworldly gates. Even though knowing it would have some form of, well, like retribution in this case. Oh my gosh. Also, sorry, I didn't mean to be like that loud. Something just crossed my mind. Let me make sure. I'm coming back to this. Where is it? I think I have it. If I don't, that would be very sad and embarrassing. Where? Would it be with polearms? Like it would. Yep. Where is it? Sorry, my brain is going like a million miles a minute and I have to make sure that I connect this correctly or if I'm really like reaching. The dragon's treasure was an infinite hoard of gold, but the boy was kind and brave and knew that gold was the true cause of calamity and chaos, and so only took a small amount, enough for his own needs and to cure his sick friends. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, excuse me. Poyola's probably Celestia. See, my mind didn't even go there immediately. It just went to like some forbidden place that they weren't supposed to. But, okay. So, his daughter was to be married to Saren. I am so sad. I cannot pronounce this name. I'm bad. Because like in my mind, I thought Poyola was like the abyss, but it could be something, I might be just completely wrong. But I might just be severely overthinking. So the reason why Ballad of the Fjords just came in my mind is because when I read anything about someone being healed, I'm just thought of that hyper specific paragraph about, whoa, the dragon's treasure. He only got a little bit and just wanted to heal his friends. But that's not. In dark and foggy Poyola, Po- Poyola? I'm not sure. The old Pakaisuko, servant of the forebears, answered thus: He will grant the young lady's hand in marriage if you should open for him the gates of Poyola. Like, let's say hypothetically this is the abyss, or this is, if it isn't the abyss, maybe it's Celestia or some forbidden sacred realm to most people. For you to not go, old Pakaisuko would have his gullible daughter suffer the punishment instead. So had he not gone, she would have suffered the same fate. But that is so upon opening those gates, Fanny's just made the no-sees out of him? Oh my gosh, it just clicked. Oh my god. I'm like, there has to be something. This doesn't make sense. But like, this is so dark. What do you mean you were just gonna surrender your daughter to the Fannies? Oh my gosh. Also, this just hold on. Hold on. I'm taking out my notes because I took notes. I literally was like, who's Sedervoinen? It's the Voyager. I don't know why it just clicked now for me, because I'm like, huh. I feel like I'm missing a huge piece of information here as I look through my past notes about literally everything. Okay, so yeah, that confirms that this is, so the first angel's name is Koitar, and she, okay. So wait, so now that makes me wonder. So once I finish reading this, I want to go back into, there was a domain. One of the weapon descriptions had mentioned a wicked plot, and we know about, there was a wicked plot that happened in Hyperborea, and presumably that is about like the first angel and the Voyager rebelling against the heavenly principles, but in this case now it's about like, oh, not that one, but I haven't even read that yet. But there's something else. Yeah, I'm gonna need to sit on this a bit because I really feel like I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Oh, that's so fascinating. That's also so horrifying. So you're telling me this man was going to be completely fine with his daughter becoming the no-sees? In dark and foggy, in the abyss, Fannies came and just clapped you like that? That's so, that's so wild. He's a demon. Why would you do that? Oh my gosh. Saritsa is the lady. She wants to I mean, why is Fanny spawn camping in the abyss? That's a good question, Koi. That's what I want to know. Why are they in the abyss? Why are they everywhere all at once? Why? Because in my mind, they're like in heaven, in their little box doing whatever they do in their room. Why were they in the abyss? Were they just aura farming in the abyss because they could? That's so wild to me. In dark and foggy, Loyola, the Lord of Seven Calamities, carved you into 7 pieces. Or should I assume that this was like a because it's not like there was a battle. It was just Fanny's in the little box. I wonder if it was to limit having too many witnesses. See, and that's the thing though, because I want to go with that, but this is also Fannies are talking about, and they literally could just do whatever. Like in my mind, I don't want to say they're omnipresent and they would be able to just remove a person's memory or witnesses to that degree. But because of how powerful they are, I feel like witnesses wouldn't even be an issue. Perhaps they could have just easily commanded the shades to just like have Isteroth rewrite something, or for some, I'm not sure. But I suppose that that's a limitation that they would have, maybe. You'd think Fannies would punish Pakaisko instead. Well, and that's the thing. That's why I'm lingering on this, because it doesn't make sense to me. So, Pakaisko, I'm terribly mispronouncing that name. I'm so sorry. But you would... So in my mind, Fannies, you're just in the abyss because that's what you do. Assuming this is the abyss, of course. And because Sarelainen opened the gates to it, you were just expecting that or waiting for that to happen, and you were there, and then you made them into... There has to be more. There has to be more here to this, though. Because why is Fannies just in the abyss? Like, of course they could do whatever they want, but why are they in the abyss here? I don't mean to be like hung up on that, but I need to know more about this here. Because you're telling me that this individual was going to send his daughter to the abyss had it not been for Sarelainen. But I don't know. I'm so interested now. I don't mean to be so hung up on this, but I think it's just really funny because I'm considering like the supreme powerful deity that is the heavenly principles, just standing man emoji in the abyss for some reason, waiting for this person. Maybe to catch Sarelainen off guard, never expecting Fannies to ever reside in the abyss. I mean, that could be the case. This is an old version of the prayer for wound healing and the curing of disease that was later revised. So this is supposed to be a healing, like, prayer. What is healing about this? That's so sad. And again, like, I'm just thinking of Ajax. A sentence I never would say out loud because, of course, I'm referring to the historical Ajax, not the cursed one in the Fatui. But this is so... Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to come back to this because there's definitely more there that I feel like, is this a situation like not like a prophecy situation, but what? I need to know this. What is happening here? Because if you know that what someone's going to do, or like for instance, this is a forbidden action. If you do said forbidden action, you will die. So you have this cheerful lad deciding to come and marry to not have her die. And then essentially sacrifices himself. So in that case, once he dies, he becomes the Gnosis. Okay, let me finish this because I feel like I'm going to be stuck on this for a while. So, Volume 3, Prayer Song 21. Hurekutar, Goddess of the Frost Moon. O Hurekutar, Mother of Holy Light, pray hear my pleas and cast your gaze from on high. May your silent tears pierce the cold night, light a silver torch that never fades, and grant the people of the far north a guiding light. Ohure Kutar, mother of the silver shuttle, hearken to my prayer and clothe the heavens in gentle veils. May your spun silver thread leads lost souls from the underworld's filth. They may not lose their way in the cold night. Ohure Kutar, wherever you lead, we shall follow, and your will shall be our law. Better that the cold night of death blind our sight, that we may sing in shame beneath a false light. Note from Priestess Anruth. This is an older, unedited version of the prayer. It was originally brief, as the only matters too sacred to be spoken of at length were the chief god who protected our ancestors and the origin, past, and future of the moons. The first moon chanter, Isla, later revised and simplified the prayer's content. The following text is now recognized as the standard for all recitations. O pale white frost moon, in the name of the descendants of the far north, I beseech you to cast down your gaze from the celestial dome above. May your gentle tears pierce the frigid night and grant us, the forsaken and forgotten, your guiding light. Prayer Song 21, Utar, the Moon Maiden. O pure and flawless new moon, in the name of the messenger of the frost moon, I beg for your grace and mercy. Cleanse us of our sins, I pray, and wipe away the endless pains and tears of those forever barred from Elysium. This is so heartbreaking. So, Hurkutar, or Hurekutar, is the original frost moon. This is who Kutar speaks of in the Archon Quest, or at least the true frost moon behind the false sky. Oh, this makes me so sad. What do you think they mean by silver shuttle? I personally interpret it as just the frost moon as a concept, unless they're attempting to refer to like silver chariot. And I think maybe reaching would be like spaceship, but I think it's just in reference to the frost moon itself, or yeah. This is just so sad to read because it's a prayer to the original frost moon who unfortunately, oh gosh. Because with Acts 1 and 2, learning that we have names to some of them and the creation process, because if I recall correctly, it was Arya first, the eternal moon, then it was Hurekutar, the frost moon, and then we have the iridescent moon who is, excuse me, currently unnamed. Well, the crimson moon. So I do think, oh, like I get so sad thinking about the frost moon. They had such a tragic fate. Because across legends, we learned how the moons all, excuse me, per different legends, you had that they turned against one another or they all just perished and there was no collaboration, obviously until now. But the frost moon scions are so fascinating to me. And again, this just makes me really sad. I feel like I don't have too much to say like regarding these two currently, just because I feel what I would have said have been already covered in the Archon Quest. And then I also feel like I rambled about them before. But I also really want to thank Priestess Anruth for collecting all of these prayers. Even though this one makes me think the most in terms of what is going on here, I still, yeah, I don't think there's like much more I could say in regards to the frost moons, because it's quite literally them just praying for protection, praying for their guidance. I do like This is an older unedited version of a prayer. It was originally brief, as only matters too sacred to be spoken of in length were the chief god who protected our ancestors' origin and the origin, past, and future of the moon. So I wonder if we'll get more prayers in future patches. That would be interesting, though. I feel like actually I feel like if we do, it wouldn't be from. Actually, no, I can't even say that because I'm not sure. I was going to say, since you complete the not Selenic Chronicles, but the meeting points, and you get them. So I'm not removed from the fact that we have third Descender confirmation, and then Voyager and First Angel names. So we have their actual names. Koitar, which I think is fascinating that it's Koitar, not Kutar, for the First Angel. And then Thedervoinen. I'm terribly mispronouncing that, but I apologize. The Voyager. It has to be. So let me see if I can actually... I'll be completely honest. I forgot I was sitting here, and that made me really happy. Where is it? I think this is the artifact domain, isn't it? Yeah. I feel like I'm forgetting a separate domain. But basically there was what item was it? Oh, you know what? It was the weapon domain. And I don't know where that is. I'm probably overlooking it because there's only 3 domains. Oh. I don't think it's this. Also, I haven't even gone into Reed Miller's lore. So I really have to think about that too. But that's a different conversation. Wait, no, it was this one. Oh my gosh. So, in the Lost Moon Court, which we can read through, there was a time when the moon did not rise in solitude as it does today. In those days, 3 moons caressed the earth with their silver light, and the lunar people knew the secrets of the lunar phases, being able to predict the tidal ebb and flow. Whatever they gently touched with their fingers would surge with moonlight might. Yet in the waning days, the moonlight dimmed, and the people, defenseless and leaderless, were scattered. Legend has it that the Frostmoon Scions constructed a lunar court in the border realms, summoning lost moonlight back to them. Today, that reflected light has disappeared from this forsaken altar. Where it once flowed through these stone carvings, there is now only frozen silence. Yet secrets unveiled in that quietude, perhaps the echoes of ancient oaths, still swirl about within the labyrinth of time. This is it's a beautiful domain, but when you go in, it just looks so horrifying. But this is actually the weapon material that I was referring to. So in that, was it prayer? I think, let me double check. It's prayer. I think prayer 11, where it was. I think it was the one that was referencing a wicked. But then I also remember it was referenced in the finale of Deep Gallery Set 2, how there was a wicked scheme that happened. And here, with the unblessed birth of a prophesied son, a millennia-long plan ushered in a bleak twilight. A scheme born of cunning was shattered by foolish betrayal. The youth who was supposed to be king took the maid who was supposed to serve him and stole the secret treasure that was supposed to be his, only to reject the crowns that fate had ordained him. Now, I do feel like this goes into a bit of a tangent of something else. I don't know if this is about Reed Miller himself, or if this is also in reference to Hyperborea in the sense of it being Um, First angel in the Voyager, I will be. I'm still thinking about that. I'm not entirely sure, but it is something that's on my mind. So I can't. Oh my goodness. I just got a notification on Twitch that says Kairos awaits, stream together with the Borderlands 4 waiting room to earn an exclusive emote. And Kairos, Istaroth is everywhere, truly. But ignoring that, let's see. I really do feel like there is overlap there. So let me see. Is the finale of Deep Gallery's artifact set? Dawn Daughter. So this, yeah, that absolutely is the first angel. And the Apostle of the Far North is the Voyager. So you're telling me in this book, not only do we get cute little nods to Nibelung, the Shades, and Phanes, but we also get Third Descender confirmation, first angel and Voyager lore, as well as Frost Moon lore. That's a lot to take in. I'm actually happy I was able to like really go through that because I'm still thinking about the first angel and Sederpoinen. And I think what I'm trying to do is hold on, where the poisonous plot of Pakaisko. Why did Pakaisko why was he going to offer his daughter to essentially like Phanes to become the Gnosis? And I don't mean offer in the sense of like I'm presenting her to you, but she was going to be the one to open the gates. Why? What was their plan? Actually, I'm curious as to what that name actually means. Hold on. Sorry if you heard that. I just put my notebook down. This is not where I meant to go. Because I'm pretty sure that was... Okay, let me write this down and then also... Why was it so easy for him to just dispose of his daughter? What happened there? What does this... There's a connection, and I don't see it right now because I think I'm... I find it I find it interesting that the moons are worshipped by humans despite being of draconic origins, and also the whole perceived betrayal from the dragon's perspective. That is something that breaks my heart. The latter, that is, that because the moons were controlled by Phanes after Nibelung left, they were regarded as traitors, when I'm going to assume maybe like her draconic pride, you know, they would expect the moons to fight back or refuse, would rather like die than serve Phanes, I suppose. So it's that tragic, we view them as traitors even though we don't know the full extent of, I mean, they were controlled by the heavenly principles, so I just have a lot to think on now. So now questions I have is, why did that figure send his daughter, or was going to dispose of her like that? Also, who was his daughter? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be loud if I was, but this really just gives me... It just reminds me so much. I can't explain it why. Or excuse me, I can't explain as to why. But I really want to connect Ajax and Sneguruchka to this. Maybe there are some parallels, or maybe that's me just overthinking. Well, I really have to think of this now.
I like being up high. I can't help but wonder, what would Tevat look like if we looked down on it from the moon above?
I have more questions now. I have so many questions now. Columbina asking their own questions as if on cue. Before I forget, I am going to... Heavenly Principles loses 50-50 cutely, please. Unfortunately for my wallet, I love her. Yeah, like I'm still... Oh, this is not the team I want to bring in this. I'm still just trying to review in my mind some of the information, you know, you can get a general view for, like, understanding of each of the shades, their roles, and how they are applied. But to read the hymns in such a hauntingly beautiful, but you can clearly feel the fear, especially about Phanes, Nibelung, the grief with the Frost Moon. But it's so strange to me how ancient, like reading ancient lore about the heavenly principles just throws me off. Like sometimes because I'm like, oh yeah, ancient civilizations know about you. And so, like, I can't help but wonder now. The way...
Know my sword! Rain outlines your fate. Rain for the everlasting forest.
You, Blade! You're up here!
I'm just...
This dance is for you!
Branch into song, body and mind.
I have so many thoughts now. I'm so sorry, Nina.
Rain outlines your fate. Witness, receive my blessing. With one heart, we pray.
Stay put! Positions! Dance with the waves!
There are a lot of numbers on my screen.
Branch into song.
Yeah, now I'm just thinking how... Can we talk about the moon hunter in the room? Oh my goodness. I am such a fake fan. The way that I completely forgot about Rary's existence because I've been deep in thought about the frost. I'm a fake fan. I forgot about Rary. This is a safe space. We can talk about Rary. We can talk about him. The moon hunter who has, I think it's called Shattered Moon, I believe. Oh my gosh. I literally did not. I think I blocked out Rary from my mind because I'm like, let me focus on one thing at a time. And I cannot do that right now.
If ever you find that the animals in Nodcry behave in ways you do not understand, just ask me and I will explain.
You should see how that looks with Ororon, Inefa, Aino, Ifa. Unfortunately, I do not have 2 of those leveled at all. So you too could be driven mad by knowledge. Okay, so first and foremost, I do want to make it very clear. My streams, community, videos, all of that, it's a safe space. So if you enjoy Rare, you're welcome here. I will say though, I forgot about him from a lore perspective because I just pushed the 5 sinners elsewhere in my brain as I tried to take apart just hymns of the far north. I feel so bad. But we can talk about the Moon Hunter himself because I need to figure out what's going on with him. Actually, hold on. Oh God. The way I should probably try to level up this team more and level up talent and stuff. And I'm just kind of standing emoji. Because now I'm distracted. I'm thinking about Rare. And I don't know if I want to think about Rare. If I think about Conrians, it's over for me. I don't know if I can do that to myself.
Lush as the moonlight. Rain outlines your fate.
Don't be scared. With all my strength.
I'm so sorry.
Branch into song by the frost moon of old.
Oh, I didn't mean to use hers.
Know
I
my
meant
sword.
to swap to
Rain
Xing
outlines
Cho.
your fate.
Here. Dance with the waves.
Lush as the moonlight. For the everlasting forest.
Ready, go!
Let me weave you a verse. Rain outlines your...
I will say, I think this... Oh, I wanted to like get in front of it and look at it. But I think that boss is so cute. Wait, I need to put Aino on the team because I think she's really cute. Why are you playing Nilu like that? I just play her like that. This is going in the trash. That's unfortunate. We don't know much about the Crimson Moon, and that
Even
might
when
be
night
the
is
source of his
gone,
grudge, but
and
we
even
do
when
know
the
a group
sky is hidden
that has a
from
grudge against the
view,
moon. I don't know. River has
still
something with
the moon
dragons.
shines its light upon you.
I feel like Rare is interesting to me in the sense that, like, he has something going on with the moons, but I don't know whether... I don't even know where to begin with, like, speculation there. Because as rude as it sounds, I haven't thought much about Rare. Because I feel like I can't articulate what I want to say about him and where I would want to start. Because we clearly know he has a reason as to why he wants to destroy moons, presumably, or avenge them. Question mark. We have no... information that way, I guess. So, I don't know. Yet he says that nothing matters to him in this world. So, like, I'm gonna go here because the music is quiet. Quiet. More quiet. Quieter. Goodness, I can't speak. But yeah, like... You think he could be some kind of anti-hero if they go the Avenger route? Because we have so little of Rayrir, I'm not even sure where to begin. It's very possible he could be an anti-hero, but I feel like they might just lean more into him being an antagonist in relation to the Five Standards, because we know Sir Trilogy is a demon. He's just going to keep destroying everything and has so much self-anguish and wants to eventually be killed, or he will just become the biggest threat known to any society, any galaxy. But forgot, because Llama is on my team, animals are going to be sweet, and I need to not be near them because he's very, I mean, it appears he has bad blood with Verofronir and Rhindaughter. For what reasons, we don't know. And then there's also Thelindis, a new name that we're unfamiliar with. I'm not sure who Thelindis could be. I'm not sure if it meant, like, if Thelindis is actually supposed to be a separate name. I think Thelindis would presumably be, like, a Conrian, maybe? Maybe someone he was in relation with, or that... Oh my gosh, thank you for the hydrate. I have not had water in, like, 2 hours. Oh my gosh. Your hydrate is so expensive. Don't you want to be moist? Oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was that expensive. I will change all these prices after stream. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. Also, guys, it's Alet. Alet is a good friendo and lore keeper. You guys. Excuse. Guys. Can we just... But I cannot spam? No, it's okay. I need to change the... I need to change the prices. Your husband? Speaking of husbands, we were talking about Rayrir, and I know that Rayrir has been on the radar for some people recently. But, also, I do want to go back to Rayrir as I try to... Because I don't really have too many theories, just because it's kind of...
Have you decided where you will go from
I need
here?
to really
If not,
review
why not find a patch of
what we
soft
learned, because we
grass
got a
and
lot
rest a
from
while?
him. I think I just haven't given myself time to really properly think about him. So I really appreciate that Flynn's... Also, Alet, I don't know if you finished the acts, but if you have not, you may get spoiled with acts 1 and 2, because I'm about to talk about Flynn's. So, but oh my gosh, Alet, thank you so much. I hope you had a great day. You only finished act 1? Okay, yeah. So unless you want to mute stream for like
If ever you find that the animals in
30
Nordcry
seconds,
behave in ways
but
you
yeah.
do not understand, just ask me and I will explain.
Yeah, because I'm just going to talk about Flynn's now. So spoiler warning for like 3, 2, 1. So thank you for stopping by, Alet. But I really like that Flynn's is just sweet. Like, I generally just like that. Oh my gosh, Yao Yao next to him? Wait. I know what team. I know who to put next to him. Where is she? There we go. As I was saying, I just really appreciate how Flynn's is very sweet. I think as a character, he's fun. And yeah, I really like that. So I think a lot of people were expecting him to be like dead serious, super, I'm super edgy and jaded and everything. And he's just a gentleman. And I really like that. And there's obviously more to his character, but I won't go too deep into it. And on that note, I really appreciate his dynamic with Rare. It's very funny. I think the little bit that both of their voice actors did, or at least their English voice actors did, for like their dynamic in the quest was really cute. He's a nice, wholesome guy, a little socially awkward, but not in an annoying way at all. I wouldn't say anyone's annoying in a social awkward way. I think for him, I just appreciate that he's, a little introverted, but he's, making do with what he has been given. And yeah, he's a sweetheart. I really like that. But on the topic of Rare, I think it's fascinating that he was only at 10% or roughly 10% when he was doing what he was doing. Especially considering everything that he was doing in the attempt to retrieve fragments of his body. And he's covered in bandages too, which makes me wonder if there was some form of experimentation done to him. Like, why is his body so shattered in the way that it is? I remember, he mentioned that he was ravaged through the chaos of time. But what was that? What was that exactly? What is he referring to? Again, what is his relation to the moons? Why is he so determined to... Because he can manipulate Kuvaki energy. So what is that? Because when I think of chaos of time, I think of how like the Mari Javari is displaced and deeply connected to time, but it's a calamity that will be present in every moment that will ever be. You have... I don't think it... Well, I say I don't think, but it could be. I highly doubt it has to do with the Mari Javari, but the fact that Reru was... If I'm remembering correctly, I believe it was Columbina who stated he was caught in the reflection of the moon. So I'm not exactly sure what is going on with him. Like, was he... I can't even begin... Like, what was going on there? And the reason I say, like, it has to have been relatively recent, because the way that Columbina spoke about how he fell into the moon's reflection... And we're going to, like, I'm just going to assume all sinners and, like, notable Conrans are hundreds of years old, but the moons themselves are thousands upon thousands of years old. So, like, when was he in that chaos of time and his body was ravaged? But we'll see. Flint?
Shh. A little lighter on your feet, if you wouldn't mind.
Perhaps I should not have started this because I completely just zoned out. Not zoned out, but I forgot how he sounds.
The fish here are used to the quiet, which makes them very sensitive indeed to external noise. So as well as treading gently, we ought to keep our voices down when we speak.
Can any fishers tell me if this is proper fishing posture? Because I feel like it's not.
I once tried fishing while two ghosts nearby were chatting incessantly. Didn't get a single bite all day. Since then, I have resolved to greet any nearby ghosts and ask them to kindly take their conversation elsewhere before I begin. I very much wish to see fish on the dinner table tonight. I shall not go home empty-handed.
I'm going to contain myself. I'm not going to say anything about Flynn's. I will not say anything about Flynn's. I will not say anything about Flynn's. 9 days, I will not say anything about Flynn's. I like your team, but it's missing something. I don't know, more like Jean. Oh, I don't usually play Jean. Nothing against her, I just don't. She's not built. Really. I haven't used her in quite some time. I like her as a character, though. Flynn's ASMR chatting and fishing stream, I mean... But when those 9 days have passed, pause champ, listen. When those 9 days hit, I'm going to pray to the gacha gods that they are kind to me. Because I don't know if I will be able to get his weapon, but... Also, Llama, sweetie, I don't know how you're not cold, but... Blasphemy, but better than most. Plus Fins is asking for the fish to get away. Oh! Like, I feel like... Okay, I love Flynn's, but I feel like a fish with a strong bite would just pull him into the water.
When the night is gone,
Am I wrong for thinking
when
that?
the sky is hidden from view, still the moon shines its light upon you.
I'm on guarantee. Yeah, it's really good that you're on guarantee. If you're on guarantee, but... Yeah, because if I'm on a 50-50, so... Oh, but this is what I meant. So in a previous stream, I think like last week, I mentioned how I got Lauma in a 10 pull. So I pulled Inefa individually. Like I just got her in like a single pull. She is here. Lauma is here. So that technically could have been a C1 Inefa if I did a 10 pull. But instead, I got her at 2 pity. And I was on my 50-50, so we'll see how Flynn's is, since I am currently at like what 5 or something. But his ASMR will bring the fish to him. I think I would just leave him to fish. I think I will leave him to fish because he seems determined. Also, I will say I did enjoy his commentary with Rarier. That was fascinating. I love that canonically, Rarier's heart was in Flynn's lantern, and Flynn's like, oh. Yeah, it was a very deeply abyss, like it was covered with abyss and like very powerful, and there wasn't a place to put it, so I just put it in my lantern. We don't really have another place for it, but yeah. Well, that's not good. Yeah, him saying that, I was like, Flynn's, be quiet. Be quiet. There is a whole Titan in front of us. Not right now. I might try to get C1 Llama for heals. If I lose, then it's just guaranteed for the next person I want. I am just going to wait. I'm going to try and... Because I do... Her C1 is nice. But I can barely play her as is.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, I usually actually have Sacrificial on her just because it matches. Where is Sacrificial? Yep, it matches. Just I do it. I'm so sad because even her signature doesn't match, and I'm like, I don't know if I want that. They're lantern mates. They are, in fact. They are lantern mates. But yeah. Also, don't forget to do your temper thyself, because I will be getting Nilu's C2 first, and then Shenhe's. But yeah. In before Lantern Rite with Mr. Lantern Keeper. Oh my gosh. I want to see my Snowland Fae. Also, hello, Dash. Welcome, welcome. I love seeing familiar faces. C6 Tignari, a few more weeks. Oh, I never used Tignari. Oh, but I am doing well. I hope you are comfy. I also hope everyone else is comfy. Flynn's and Zhongli in the same region, dare I say, the same room. Now, Grim, you know, I think it would be very neat if these silly old men just talk about rocks. I think it'd be very cute. If they just were to be in a room, at a table even. This is so funny looking. Oh my gosh. They both like rocks. And they both are incredibly knowledgeable. Not to mention, I want to know more about the Nod Cry of old that Flynn speaks of. But all the coat men in the same room, how many? But there's Zhongli, Flint, because Flint is actually, like, he looks like he has a collared shirt underneath his model, but, it's him. I don't know why I'm asking this as if I don't have the character archive right here. They look technically, depending on the outfit, but Zhongli. Are we only talking about tall men? Because even he doesn't have like a... Like if we just talk about male, like the tall male models, we could do that, but...
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember. But where are those who share the memory?
Oh, Zhongli. Wait. Blue men. Technically, oh yeah, blue men. Blue, purplish men. But I do wish we'd gotten shorter hair for Flint. I think it'd have been cute. Like, that's fine that he has longer hair, but I mean, I think it'd have been nice to have a tall male model just with short hair. Like you did it with Aoife. And Tartaglia, etc. Risley. I think also I just have personally like mullets and rat tail hair fatigue a little bit. Like I just get kind of tired of seeing it. That's fine. I don't mind characters with long hair. It's just nice to change it up every once in a while. I want him out of his coat so bad. I have to see that shirt. It looks classy. This is an educational stream, by the way. The long hair feels weird. It feels like an afterthought. Like, if they were to cut his hair, I wouldn't even really mind. I feel like, because it just looks kind of silly. They could have just, like, he could still have the gradient. But it feels like they just gave him this, like, jellyfish mullet cut for, just because. It's not like his hair is long like Novelette's is. It's just kind of, you know. But yeah, like, I'm fine either way. I don't hate it, but it would have been nice to see something different. Yeah, it's not like, I mean, I can only speak for myself. I don't think it's the end of the world. I know some people are no longer pulling Flynn's because they realize he had long hair. And I'm like, oh, you're just not a true fan. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. There is no way that could be me. But soon. About a week. And then we'll have him. But yeah, on the topic of Hymns of the Far North, I think that's a fantastic read. I have a lot to think on now. Also, I will say, previously I speculated that this grave was perhaps in relation to like Flynn's ancestor or something, and now I can't help but wonder if it's actually just him, like his past life before he... And so this is something that I think, I don't know if it's left to debate or if it's purposely left vague. I don't, because I interpreted during the Act 2 of the Archon Quest when he was talking about his history was, I think what it means to imply is that when the Snowland Fae all, like their civilizations like fell. I wouldn't say like fell, but they all dispersed and all the despair happened. I interpreted it as Flynn's wanting to sink, quote unquote, was him attempting to take his life, and then was going to, but was saved by the Lightkeepers. But I also feel he may have just tried to sleep forever and then just succumb to the abyss. So I'm not sure. I just interpreted it as more of a, like, that was the first thing that came to mind for me. Maybe they didn't intend it to be that dark, but that's just how my brain thought, and that's why I assumed this was his grave. Because when you first meet him, he says, like, this, like, if you wish to come to where I live or Final Night Cemetery, you can come visit my grave, or I mean the graveyard. I'm pretty sure that's what he says. Do you know how Russian names work? Chudomir would be his father because he is Chudomirvik, so it would be his so it could be his past life. Okay, I see. I only had vague information about how names worked. And so I didn't want to assume, especially because I'm not of that descent. So, but because when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, Chudomirovic. Okay, like my mind went to possibly son, but I wasn't confident, so I didn't want to assume. So, but that's very interesting to know. Yet still with the spooky boy, I was like, oh, I didn't think they were going to be this dark with him. I thought he was just going to be quiet, jaded man who does his job and wants to be left alone. But it turns out he is a quiet man who wants to do his best and is slowly becoming more social, even though he lives here alone. Also, to those, I'm still going through the quests here. I was pleasantly surprised to learn that he just, I mean, it makes sense because of the Archon quests when we go in the basement, but how he's just in the basement. Like, sweetie, you don't have to be in a basement. But I suppose that's just what's comfiest for him. So yeah, I have a lot to do here. But every time I come here, I get distracted because I think I end up seeing Flint, and then I collect things, and then I leave. Yeah, that's... Oh my gosh. Also, I haven't even explored all of Paha Isle because I just get so depressed and anxious coming here. Because what used to be a beautiful land has been completely colonized by the Fatui. And you see the remnants of the moon everywhere, and all of these, the bases, the strongholds, it just eats away at my soul. So I'm like putting it off, even though I will be exploring it relatively soon. I'm making him such a nice room in my teapot. I want him out of the basement. Oh, that's a good point. I just throw everyone in the teapot. I don't even think of like rooms and stuff for them. Oh, that reminds me. I do have Llama's weapon, and I just... Do we want to go over the lore on this? I don't think I've read this on stream. I think I read like the first little bit of it, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. And I've completely forgot about what it actually was because it's been a very busy week and a half for me. So I was just very shocked. Now, I will say that this little description was an indicator, but I also feel like what we got was far more involved than I expected. Oh my goodness. Let's see. I think I will, because I think this will provide a bit more detail. Nightweaver's Looking Glass. When the eternal moon fell, the heavens and earth were thrown into chaos. When the iridescent moon shattered, the crimson shadow sank into the abyssal sea. When the frost moon ceased to turn, nations faltered and fell into ruin. The world, no longer sheltered by eternity, marches towards its final breath, until Elysium dawns and begins to turn the primordial wheel. Following an ancient prophecy, the descendants of the Golden City erected a lonely temple on the desolate tundra. For 1,000 years, the moonlight had quietly streamed through the frosty forest. The descendants of the North still upheld their ancient rituals and faith, forging pale ceremonial crowns from secret silver and choosing the purest archpriestesses to guide their people. As in the days of old, they continued their prayers and chants, though their gods had long departed and the sky no longer answered. An outsider might regard these practices as the actions of the foolish, clinging to old, meaningless ways. Yet only those these prayers and sacrifices passed down for 1,000 years could serve as emblems and signs for a people who had lost their homeland. The spindle wheel of fate had rusted, and the silver thread had grown dim. Prophetic visions alone could not bring true hope to the people. Who would worship a dead god or endure such hopeless suffering for an empty dream? Just as in ages of epics past, now returned to the earth's depths through countless cycles, the ignorant continued to yearn for tangible guidance. Thus, these rituals had become their great isolation, a high wall keeping them unseen and unknown to the world beyond and its peoples. So it had been for 1,000 years, and so it would remain for 1,000 more, until the prophesied Elysium descended, until the pure bloodline, refined through generations, produced the sacred heir who would make the world fall to its knees. And when that time came, all lies and sins would be forgiven, even praised, for they all served the pure Elysium beneath the moon. What follows is the sacred journey of the Frost Moon Scions, who have long ceased to turn outsiders away. The first moon chanter, a saint graced by the divine and the one who witnessed the birth of a god, once the mortal Isla. According to stories passed down by later generations, she foresaw the new moon's birth and, moved by divine revelation, chose to abandon the old rites. She was the chosen one, blessed from birth, a devout soul untouched by the sublunary sphere's countless corruptions. She saw the spinning wheel's dead silence and the silver thread's despair, for a millennium of praise had become nothing more than a hollow echo. The faded glory never once had pity upon the desolate borderlands. Now, only the new moon, on the cusp of its birth, held the promise of true hope. Isla's devotion earned her the admiration of even the last archpriestess of the far north, who opened her heart to her without hesitation. She earnestly entrusted Isla with the authority to lead the people and granted her the honor of sealing the ancient sanctuary with her own hands. Thus was the old glory buried, the hollowed titles and meaningless past cast aside. Now they would await the advent of the newborn god. No one would again hold the title of Archpriestess of Hyperborea. Only the moon chanter remained standing amidst the pure light. Countless moons rose and fell. Those who dreamed of Elysium found only the shadow of the axe, while those who longed for salvation were swept into the flowing light. The mad monk who reached for the heavens lost his mind. The old master of the pale star throne is gone. The white emperor fell into the churning black waves of filth. At last, even the nightingales fell silent. Countless names faded from the world beneath the moon, becoming echoes that the living were left thereafter to judge. As promised to the torch forger, the new moon's maiden spun a prayer song and laid it to rest alongside the sanctuary. And until the white night erases the final witnesses of that era, only the moonlight shall remain, glowing quietly even as it did 1,000 years before. When the eternal moon fell, the heavens and earth were thrown into chaos. When the iridescent moon shattered, the crimson shadow sank into the abyssal sea. When the frost moon ceased to turn, nations faltered and fell into ruin. The world, no longer sheltered by eternity, marches towards its final breath. Yet, from the ashes, the new moon rises, its ascent spinning the wheel of fate anew. And those who follow the tide still sing their songs and offer their prayers, for the new moon shall come precisely as the ancients have foretold. So this is really interesting to me.
If ever you find that the animals in Nodcry behave in ways... You do...
This entire time I was muted. This entire time I was muted. Oh my gosh. This is so embarrassing. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I think my sluggishness is catching up to me. This entire time for the past like 5 minutes, I've been muted. I am so sorry. Basically, during that time, I mentioned, or more so I asked, what section of Hymns of the Far North is the most interesting to you, or what leaves you the most curious, because Istaroth and the First Angel and the Voyager are really racking my brain a bit. And because Venus had mentioned Rarier, I'm pretty sure, now my mind is also going to Rarier, even though he's not mentioned here. He is irrelevant in this. So I went to check why I got so quiet. Yeah, that was completely my fault. I forgot that I had accidentally muted myself. And now I forgot what I was saying before. Oh, I remembered. I haven't even read the artifact sets yet. I have not read them in the fullest. I haven't read either one. And so now it's going to be like my mind is just kind of all over the place. I'm not even sure where to start. I also need to do more Frost Moon Scions lore. Also, do I need to reread the weapon description? Because I don't know how long I was muted for that. If so, that's fine. I can just reread it, but that's so embarrassing. I am so sorry. I did not realize I accidentally muted myself like that. Third Descender prayer for sure. These prayers are so interesting. I think it's ridiculous how the event weapon has some interesting lore. You know what? I actually haven't read all of it. I say read all of it. I haven't read any of it. So I'm going to do that. Aetherlight Spindle Loot. Beyond the ruins of an ancient palace and on the edge of the wasteland strands. Oh, excuse me. Let me just redo this. Beyond the ruins of an ancient palace and on the edge of the wasteland stands the tranquil sacred forest of Lake Amsvartnir. I'm sorry for butchering that. Legend has it that whoever breaks the golden branch in the forest will find the royal court of the Seelie, which is concealed from mortal eyes during the day. A kingdom of the past, it lies forgotten by both time and space, hidden in shadow where no heavenly light can touch it. Its owner has long departed, leaving behind nothing but a neglected courtyard and a hall stripped bare. Yet within the palace that should have been abandoned, a young woman's silent lament echoes across its walls. Once upon a time, the Titan craftsmen of the skies once wove the destinies of all living beings. The golden harp, their instrument of fate. That was the divine plan of the heavens. If it were followed, the entire world would usher in happiness. Yet, even the ignorant can dream, and in her dream, a new future revealed itself. She saw men raise a tower to the heavens, and from its heights, the tower's apostle waging war against the sky. She saw roaring beasts, each larger than a mountain, breaking free from the bonds of the earth. She saw 3 moons casting their light upon the sea, a sight soon eclipsed by an ancient dragon rising like a tide. All that vanished the moment she woke, as it had never happened. All that remains was the indescribable glance from those star-like eyes. Was that love? Perhaps it was just illusion woven from hope, ambition, and a longing for death. That matters not now, for their story has ended, and it became Elysium's finale. The chirping of insects on a long-gone autumn night is the chorus of exiles singing mankind's most ancient song as they live out their plight. They had lost the place of their bodies and souls, with nothing left but songs and memories of their homeland they once knew. The last singers, the first Seelie, they played their final tune in the Hall of Angels. The wolf who once broke into this place had long since departed. Only unfulfilled dreams remain and continue to chase phantoms. Oh, I'm sad again. But also I feel vindicated because I was like, oh my God, can we get a Seelie area where it's like, can we get a Seelie event? Like a Seelie lore event that's not the Lost Riches event where I can go to ancient Seelieville? But now I'm wondering if this is the wolf from the Drunkard's Tale. I have to wonder. Starlike Eyes. We love Starlike Eyes. Oh, speaking of Starlike Eyes, why doesn't River have Conrian pupils? I imagine it's probably because of all the different things that have gone through his body. But like, he doesn't have Conrian pupils. Obviously, Rhindoter is an exception. She's fused with the Shade of Life. Like, I don't want to stare at Rare's eyes because I will not fall for that propaganda, but like, it gives more Bishop than anything. Could you imagine if Rare was like, I'm gonna be a dragon, I'm gonna be a dragon now, guys, haha. Realistically, I don't know. Because he did say this body, so it might just be an amalgamation of parts just fused into one thing. Because I refuse to type in Rare Genshin Impact in Google because no, I will not fall for the propaganda. If I see art on the timeline, I will retweet it, but I will not, you know. Oh, that's actually so, wait. That's so, oh, I love the Seelies so much. They were super wronged. Fanny's is so stinky. A lute whose golden strings are as radiant as sunlight. Also, this once again just reiterates, you know how much gold is referenced with Seelies? Nicole, we know you're an angel. We know, or you were an angel before you reverted TM, or regressed, I should say. Because when I think of Rare's eyes, they do give more thwaggin. One of his first lines seems to imply that he isn't nor ever was human. I almost said Virgil. Oh my gosh. For Rare, he... I want to think about Rare. Actually, I retract that statement. No. That's not what I meant to say. I'm curious as to what is going on with him. I really do. I will say though, it like during the quest when he came out of that portal, I'm like, oh, good luck, y'all. Good luck. Sandrone, Marionette was really cute. When she was like, yeah, Polonia got this. I'm like, sure. Because again, we can try to demystify them and meme them all we want, but they are sinners at the end of the day. Because it's inevitable. We absolutely have to fight Rerir because he wants question mark. We'll put him in the lantern, and when he comes back out, he'll be a friend definitely. I don't want Rerir to be a friend though. Is that like controversial to say? I kind of like that he's mean. I kind of like that he's a villain and like that he's an antagonist. I don't know. There's something about him just being kind of unhinged and just being, you know. But also, he's very... How do I want to word this? I can easily see him getting got. Also, I completely forgot. Varka just walked up and was like, hey. Hi, by the way. He definitely gives weekly boss Matt energy. Jam. I'm screaming because he absolutely does. But that's so frustrating because I feel like his boss fight is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be because, for instance, I love Arlecchino's boss fight. She's very classy, very fun, very cute. I feel like he's going to be like a ramped up version of her if he's going to be a weekly boss. And I kind of hope he just stays a weekly boss because I don't see them making him a playable character. But I kind of want him to continue being just unhinged and doing whatever he's doing. Also, I don't want characters who are antagonistic or supposed to be villains to go down the very tried and true, here's your redemption arc kind of thing. Cause it's just a disservice to the character. You can just let him be who he is. And then also, I don't know. I feel like it's, let's see. So long as he's nothing like a Soithoth, I'll be happy. He's a pain to fight in co-op. I am fine if anyone wants to. I have space on my friends list if people want to add me if they ever need help with stuff. And I'm like around, I will help. So I know co-op can be kind of stinky sometimes, but yeah, because so like the Lord of Primal Fire can be a bit much. Also, Rare. I'm very interested in him, genuinely from a lore perspective, but I feel like no matter how I word things with him, it's going to be seen as thirst. So I'm just I'm gonna stop. Is there a command for your UID? I can add you. No, but I can copy it. I will say though, I may forget.
Have you decided where you will go from here?
If I don't add you like right here, so I'll just do that. Because sometimes I'll be like, unless I completely recognize the name, I will just reject a friend request. Like, who are you? I don't remember you. But yes, I do think these boss fights are going to be interesting, assuming we're going to be fighting him, which I mean, why wouldn't we? He's a sinner after all. Also, travel log. Oh my gosh. I forget where he came up. Oh my gosh. I really do forget. I know he was in I thought he was in end of Act 1 though. I don't remember. Once there was who hunted the moon. I don't even I love how we got a Harbinger level intro and everything. He's so dramatic. They were like, "Hey, did you know this guy is scary?" And you're like, "Who is this?" Not for lore enjoyers. Lore enjoyers are like, "Yeah, it makes sense that he'd be here." Oh, oh my gosh. Dear Lord, the amount of amount of text. Oh yeah, this is when everyone's like, he's kind of bad. You should probably be careful. I feel like his fight would be the first half of Nodkai, the second half villain would be Dottore, maybe. I'll be honest, I feel like Dottore is quite literally just here for research. I feel like he wouldn't even be interested in fighting unless it like really came down to it. Talk to the completed Rerir is a objective for sure. Oh yeah, and this is when he crashed out. Yeah.
Verfnir, Rheindaughter, Flinders, Flinders.
Yeah, so I
Watch
want
out.
to know who Thalindus is. I'm so happy. I'm so happy live. I got to watch a Conran crash out. It was so, I loved it. I love my Conrans. They're so silly. Oh, okay. Thank you, Jam. Like, but he literally sounds heartbroken. Like, he sounds like he's grieving when he says Thalindus. Yeah.
Matters not. Having a heart, being human, it's all irrelevant. Completely and utterly insignificant. You matter not. Nor does anything in this world. None of it matters to me!
Blythe does such a good job. Oh my god. I can hear Liga seeping through. This is so funny. He's so okay. Am I I don't know how to describe myself here. I want to take him seriously, but I kind of don't. Maybe it's because I'm making him less intimidating than he actually than he absolutely is. This is the pinnacle of cope, seethe, mold. I mean, I think it's fair for him to have a Conrian crash out because his plans were being thwarted. So, and I mean, he really was about that life. He was about to kill all of us. The only reason we didn't die is because Columbina was like, all right, guys, time to go. Time to go. Truly a goated VA would have been cringe otherwise, honestly. Okay. I really don't like using the word cringe, but I honestly feel if they would had to have scored like another amazing voice actor, because Blythe's just such a fantastic job channeling his energy and aura, for lack of a better word, because he would definitely just sound like, who is this Kingdom Hearts villain I'm looking at? Also, this is just really funny. Oh wait, hold on. I have to hear this line again.
Columbina! What did you do that for? I studied his abilities inside out, equipped Paulownia with comprehensive countermeasures. We were going to settle the score! But he still broke through, did he not? What? You expect a battle to be completely one-sided? I just didn't expect him to have no sense of honor whatsoever. Paulownia would have been fine in a head-on clash, but battles just get chaotic. Oh, so you actually thought you could win?
Columbina is so funny. I love their dynamic. I love their dynamic. Columbina is so funny. She really said, oh, sweetie, you thought you were going to win against one of the 5 sinners. Well, I see. But no, also shout out Polonia. She was like, I didn't think he would battle like dishonorably. And I'm like, girl, are we looking at the same? Look at him. Do we? Well, let me not say anything. But you're expecting one of the 5 sinners of Conria, who clearly had a crash out and says none of it matters to me. You assume this man is going to fight honorably? Am I rude to say that? I just feel like Marionette should have known better. But all I will say, I am very curious about her and Polonia. Polonia, I'm still just baffled at her being like, we could have settled the score. My robot would have absolutely destroyed one of the 5 sinners. And I'm like, do you mean the same man who's not even at 10% whatever power? Nah, he gives me Svarog vibes. Oh, I think Polonia is adorable. I just realized that Nefer was the one that connected Sandrone to help with the fight, because Nefer's curatorium group and Adventurers Guild are tight. Yeah. Oh, Nefer. I want to know the stories she knows. She's really connected everywhere. I'm sorry. I'm still screaming. This line right here is my favorite because it's so funny how he's literally like, you guys have ruined everything. I'm going to kill you. Do you think Nicole protected Hisi Island? 100,000%. Yes, I do. I also think she was the same person that was helping them. Flynn's Paimon and the Traveler with the books underneath the Lightkeepers, or at least in the Final Night Cemetery. I believe it was her as well. It could be Alice, sure, but I'm a firm believer that it's Nicole, especially considering the amount of gold imagery that we see with Seelies, who are remnants of angels. And considering she has beautiful golden wings and a golden crown and presumably was an angel herself, I just feel it would make the most sense, because she did in fact guide them when they were unsure of how to move forward. And that's a role she has. Also, now that I think about it, Flynn, oh my god, not Flynn's. Rare has to be like, what, like 8 foot tall? Like, dude was huge. That was like so scary. Yeah, that's how I know for a fact he's never gonna be playable, because he's too tall. They're not gonna model a character like that to be playable. I would literally have to see it to believe it.
If ever you find that the
Friends added.
animals in Nodcry behave in ways you do not understand.
Same height as Arlecchino's crimson form. Are we referring to like her boss form? Like the second phase one? Because if so, then I stand corrected. I just don't know if they'd oh, interesting. Interesting. Can you imagine if we got playable Rayweir before Dainsliff? Yeah, I can, because the very first live stream they ever did mentioned how Dainsliff was not going to be playable for a significant amount of time. So any character being released before him doesn't surprise me. And also, I've just accepted this as a Dainsliff fan. But I don't know, Rayweir being playable, like, for what? I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but why? I feel like he would have his own story, and then that'd just kind of be it. I don't think they'd make him playable, but I could be easily wrong. I could be easily wrong. They could make all the 5 sinners playable. But I would hope maybe 1 at most, to be honest. Dane's gonna need a big model revamp when he comes out. I mean, I hope so. There are quite a few models in this game that need revamps, and I don't know when or if they even plan on doing it. With the amount of money that Genshin Impact makes, they absolutely could, but I think it's ultimately, like, we can't do anything. I mean, in the sense of we can annoy them to death about it, and maybe they will pay attention to it, but we'll just see. I do want to say, though, I want to delve deeper into the Crimson Moon and Arlecchino. So I also think that's a significant reason as to why she glitches, in addition to, like, Parror and Harry, etc. Or Parror and Harry, not Parror. I know some people were even upset about Skirk being playable, especially since she didn't get a new element or anything. So the thing with Skirk, I personally never anticipated her becoming a playable character, but I'm fine that she is. I think I personally can't really see a reason as to why she shouldn't be playable. I also feel like we moved on from Skirk way too quickly, because not only is her story very fascinating, but it paints a much broader picture on Genshin Impact as a whole, especially in terms of cosmology. And then Certology, but that's, you know, a whole other thing. I feel at some point we were going to inevitably get Skirk in game, whether it was she's playable or not, because of just how important she is to Tartalia's character. So I don't know. I feel like I love Skirk. I've been interested in her since we learned about Tartalia's master, and I'm happy she is in the game. I still feel like I need to do her justice, because I do want to make a lore video centered just around her story, in addition to just what is going on, like, with her and the connections there. So, you know, some characters we may not learn in Tavat's arc. It could be in a future arc. So we'll just see, but I'm trying to think of other characters. But yeah, I mean, I really like Skirk. So if I was a cool kid, no joke, she'd be C6. Because I love Skirk. I think of the characters we've recently received and had more, like, explanation on. Yeah. Skirk is really, really cool to me. I love my abyssal mermaid. But, yeah. I hope we see her in Nodcry. I'm selfish. I just want her in Nodcry. The same with Mona. I want them both to be in Nodcry. I'm also getting C2 Shenhe for Skirk. Because why not? Why not? That'd be funny. Actually, is her... Oh. Oh, wow. Things to consider. Also, wait. I think I read this on stream. Yes, I did. I did read Israelite. Nate, need Dainsliff and her to pull up and not cry would make sense with Rarer there and all. I would love to... Okay, I want to see a fight between Skirk and Rarer, and then I also want to see a fight between Dainsliff and Rarer. Or all three of them. A three-way fight. I'd love that. That'd be fun for me. Even though Skirk wouldn't really need to fight either of them. Get here, your master's coworker is here. I feel like she'd be like, this has nothing to do with me, goodbye. And then somehow it would be about her, and then she'd have to fight. I just want to see Skirk fighting. Like, I want to see an animated Skirk fight, like more. More. So yeah. I have Shenhe's signature weapon, but not her. I do have her weapon. Skirk and Riru would be hilarious, especially since she's already fought a Conrian voiced by the VA's partner. I gave it to a Skofgate. Oh, that's fair. I was lucky and I do have her weapon. But I just think Skirk and Riru fighting would be hilarious. Because why? Why? But also, why not? But yeah. But yeah, I think Hymns of the Far North, very interesting. A lot to chew on there. I need to go through the artifact sets, which I want to see. My streams are so spontaneous. I really do want to do a lore reading of those artifact sets as well, because I haven't even done them and I completely forgot. But I also wonder if I should just do the world quest first and then read the artifacts, because maybe they'll provide more information and understanding if I do the world quests first. Or I'll do it the reverse way. So we'll see. I wrote a lot of notes actually on Hymns of the Far North, so we'll see. Big question. Have you raised anyone to level 100? I actually have not yet. I do think I'm just stalling because I'll probably bring Mona to level 100 just because I love her so much. I also have 9 of these. And I don't know who else I'm going to use. I can get 3 characters to level 100. Realistically, they would probably go to Mona, Nicolette, and then probably Zhongli. But I'm just waiting. I also want Rena to be level 100 though too. So yeah, I have to wait. So no level 100s yet. Late to this, but Dainsmith was already playable. You're right. I got to hit a number and he did something. Also, I don't think I'm ever gonna get over how pretty Skirk is. I adore her colors. Also, maybe I didn't notice it before, but I didn't realize how, like, I know her limbs are abyssal. Like, she just made her limbs because she lost them during her years of being abused and destroyed by Sertology. But I didn't realize how much, like, effects are on them. Her weapon fits her perfectly. I can't imagine equipping her with any other weapon. If I didn't get her weapon, she unfortunately would have had to have Ayatos, which does not match her immediately. But it's too perfect. It's also shattered. So, or chipped, I should say. It's chipped right there. You got the team for Dire Soldier and Stygian Smile? Which team? Not this one. I haven't even tried. I'm going to do Imaginarium Theater later. I can't do Stygian. I care for my mental health right now. That one? Why would I want to bring this team to that final boss? That sounds really scary and not great. I love that she floats. And also her charge attack is different. And not the same charge attack that every sword user has.
Mine to wield.
But yeah. But I think actually on that note, I'll probably end stream here because I need to eat. And I forgot to eat before I started streaming. Oops. I need to work on farming artifacts for my llama. I need her EM to get 1200 plus. I think my llama is like at 1000 maybe. Maybe. Okay, she's 1100. She is, eh. I could do way better, but unfortunately. But yeah, I will call a stream there. I will let everyone know if I do another lore reading stream. I'll probably do the artifacts themselves. and then have much more polished thoughts about the Voyager and stuff. But yeah, it's getting a bit later. Bye bye. I hope I can catch the next stream whenever that is. I'm trying to get much better about just making a schedule and actually sticking to it. So I'll announce it on stream. On Twitch. I can't speak. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I'll speak about it on Twitter and in my Discord. Definitely join if you'd like just a comfy community. We do talk lore, but we also are just a bunch of gamers in there. So yeah, but thank you everyone for being here for the lore reading, and I hope VOD watchers had a good time. But I am off to have food and to scream about Genshin lore later. All right, talk to you guys later. Good night.
All things come to an end.